Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you guys see this. I'm up early, and of course, it's my first time talking for today, and I'm trying to keep it, very calm. Okay, so that way I don't stir up any, you girl. I'm not over here. Am I the only one like that when you first wake up? Like your body, and I know I'm not, but of course, for conversation purposes, am I the only one when I wake up? Like my body has to like clear out phlegm and what do you call it? Sinuses, everything open up. And of course, I know because I have allergies and all that good stuff. And of course, it doesn't help being in California. Who you doing? But anyway, let's talk about today, y'all, very slightly. Something that I've been seeing, and I kind of owed this to you guys way back in the day. Oh, before I get into that, I do want to say, you guys, when you guys are sending over payments or anything, whether it is for reading casework, it doesn't matter. Please send me an email after that to let me know that you sent that over and the purpose of it. So that way I know, because of course people have sent over payments and if it was like one or two people, I wouldn't bring it up. But I'm like, you know what? Let me keep the confusion down. So when you send it over, send me an email, let me know you sent it over and the purpose of what you sent over for, so that way I can jump on it. You guys, I tell you, I do not like lingering. Like I do not like services being purchased and you guys are delayed on your services. So like I said, please, send me an email after you send over payment, tell me what the payment is for, and we go from there. Okay. I do not check, PayPal's or Cash Apps or stuff immediately. Sometimes I don't even get notifications for it. I have to kind of like open the app to see what's there. And that's how I be knowing. But like I said, please send an email over and say, hey, I sent over blank, 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 blank for this and that. Okay. So the purpose of it is, like I said, is to talk about some things because I've seen something on YouTube that kept coming up, and it's not just on YouTube. I'm saying this. I don't really care for TikTok, by the way. I would say this. I feel like this is used as some type of propaganda. What they always say that the person who causes the issue will usually come along and provide a solution. Okay, and not verbatim, but there's something along those lines. This is the ancient practice that people who like to manipulate situations have done. Okay. And of course, the people that are currently, or people period that run countries, businesses, etc., they, cause the problems and provide the solutions, or the problems arise and they don't do anything to stop the problems until the problems get out of hand. And now they want to offer a solution. And so either way, there's a lot going on, and I saw, like I said, a conversation about the presence of a particular government group. Like I said, I don't really like getting into government conversations because I feel like relationships have been destroyed over political views, religious views, and that's another thing why I said I do not care to have those conversations when it comes to personal or business, because I'm not going to agree with everything that you say, and sometimes people will see it as you're not agreeing with them, so you're against them, and I'm like, I'm entitled to have my own opinions. I'm entitled to think and feel the way that I want to think and feel. Everybody's unique in their own expressions and energy, and I truly like to preserve that for myself. And so I don't have to have a Democratic, Republic, liberal side. I can do and think however I want to do and think and feel. I may have some political views of Republicans. I may have also political views of some Democrats, but these are views of myself, not collectively. Okay. Do not put me in a box with other people and assume, like I said, because I do not agree with you or I see some things different from you, that I am your enemy. Because baby, if we were enemies, baby, I don't kiss ass for friendships and or clients. Okay. With that being said, there's been talks about the presence of certain energy, in first Washington, D.C., and then, of course, it went over into, other parts of the world, and they're targeting large, I'm going to say portals, because we mentioned this before and people wasn't really listening. people were assuming that the only places that had demonic or portal type of energy is New Orleans. And I keep telling y'all, these commercialized spiritual people will do anything they can to talk about hot topics, to get their views up, to get their clicks, to get their likes, to get their followings. There are portals all around the world. There are portals all around America, whether it is coastal or is inland, going into a lot of the forests, a lot of the mountainous areas. These are portals. These are energies going into physical manifestation of mountains. And I always tell you this, these are guards. These are walls. These are energetic walls for frequencies. So walls or mountains could be viewed as energetic forces or energetic blockages or barriers, if you want to speak like that. And so energies that are sent on either side of the mountain is not able to penetrate the other side of the mountain. Hence why a lot of people, when they were in war with other religious or other spiritual people, they went in other sides, places where mountains were either higher up. They went to the other side. And even going into them speaking about if something was to go down, you need to be at the top of the mountain and, go as high up as you can. Hence why a lot of people start moving into national park stuff, which like I said, I won't get into that. And so these places that these energies are being deployed in, these places are portals. And these are portals that were initiated when people started migrating into this country under specific areas. And they started doing certain things. Now, a lot of them were not doing it spiritually. Like I said, we're only going to talk about this lightly. A lot of these people or entities were not doing this on, because even corporation, y'all, corp is like body. There's bodies of work, bodies of frequency, bodies of entity. Like corporations are their own, they're considered entities. They're considered people or persons, a certain person. And so either way, these organizations, these entities started establishing territory and or their works in certain parts of the world because, of course, they were aware of the resources. They were aware of the frequencies. We go into natural energies. We go into man-made energies, however you want to get into that. But there was energy that would feed these entities. There was a life force. There was life found, kind of like them trying to find life on Mars and stuff, right? And so either way, these entities were very powerful beings, right? And when I'm saying, because I don't want y'all to get this, misconstrued and all this stuff that, this is a spirits and all that. This led to that, but these were like mafia. This was like groups, organized groups of people that said, we're going to go set up our territory. We're going to go set up our place of business, or we're going to go set up our place of whatever here, LA, Chicago, Atlanta, whatever. And so what ended up happening is, y'all, people were fighting over these territories, and they, some of them, of course, the old heads end up dying out. Or a lot of these other organized members started going into these other territories and slowly but surely started, chipping away at these territories. And eventually they end up planting themselves there. And of course, like I said, let's get into disclaimer. So all things are alleged to proven otherwise. And we're going into spiritual interpretation of this, y'all, because when it goes into like gangs and all that stuff, girl, I've never been interested in learning the history about gangs, no matter what part of the world it's in, because I don't think it's a crock of shit. If you want to, ask my honest opinion, the things that I'm telling you is through my spiritual interpretation, meaning that I get into a meditative state. I ask spirit questions, things come up, I make note of it, and then I'm coming out and I'm speaking about it. And so either way, they started going into these areas to claim their territory. And unfortunately, innocent people were got. Okay, and I'm sure this could be proven historically as well. I'm sure you can look up if you're interested in seeing everything that I'm saying to have valid points. And if it's all not valid and it all cannot be proven through your research, the valid ones, the major ones could be proven. And so they started getting innocent people, unfortunately. And innocent people to me are women and children, because of course we have some women who are, affiliated with these organizations, but usually they are venging like their grandfather or their father. They're not venging their mother. They're not venging their grandmother. They're really venging the work of their father or their grandfathers. And typically, a lot of these grandfathers and fathers will even hire their daughters and stuff, as Jezebel spirits to seduce these other enemies to then set them up and get their ass together. And we even see that in modern day world, modern day society. And so either way, because we can go into this and we go into a lot of stuff because so much stuff came up, y'all, even going into, anyway, a lot of stuff came up. There is presence of a particular entity known as ICE, which of course is immigrant or immigrant custom. I don't know what it is. I know they deal with border control and civilian immigration protection or keeping public safety. Okay, I know that. But it is said that these places were set up, or these, this entity was set up into like LA. First it was LA, then it went into like, girl, they used LA as the platform, and duh, they used it as the entry point to start now. Let's start going into other big cities that want to hide or do fucked up ass shit. And of course, it is alleged being, carried into now that they are in Chicago. I also know that Chicago, okay, and they are getting, immigrants as well as citizens. And I told y'all this years ago that Chicago is one of the major portals in America. Okay, Chicago is one of the major portals in America, and the entities that settled into Chicago, there was a lot of them, but most importantly, the ones that significantly busted open this portal, okay, are the Italian people, and they are Sicilian. Okay. And of course, if you're aware of, how Italy works, yes, Sicily is a part of Italy, but they're like their own little separate type of movement of people, right? When people usually say that they're Italian, they're speaking of like mainland, right? They're not speaking of this little island. When they say they're Sicilian, they're saying they are from Sicily. And so I won't get too deep into that, but the powers and the roots of Sicily is very different from other type of energetic workings that are part of also like the Italian magical system. And so these entities or these people, they got into Chicago because they started seeing like the French and other groups of people doing certain things. They were, right there by the water. Like I said, I mean, it's not too far from Canada. They saw this as an entryway for energy. I also feel like Chicago's had a lot of like UFO or how would I say it? Interterrestrial, extraterrestrial, interstellar type of experiences that some of them is noted, but a lot of them are not even talked about. I also feel like there's some type of volt in Chicago, Illinois, where they have artifacts and stuff of like historical things that they found in America, and they have it like locked down. And I kind of see it similar to like the Vatican, right? And so there's a lot of energy there, and these entities, different organized groups. We're just going to say the Sicilian Mafia, actually, believe it or not, come on in here, because there's a link between New Orleans and Chicago. Okay. I mentioned this before, and I will continue to say this. There's a major connection there. There's even like Amtrak's, and there's other systems that connect, not even to mention the Mississippi River, right? That it flows the same way up and down, right? And so we know that water and water banks is how energy and spirits move. And hold on, there's an airplane going over, girl. All these distractions this morning to y'all. Got a call right now, girl. This thing got a fucking alert. Now there's a plane going over. It's early. That's why I said, let me get on here early so I'm not hearing shit, girl, because it's Friday. Hold on. Okay. Oh, there's another one. Hold on. Okay. Well, okay. So the Sicilians actually started out in Italy and they end up moving into Chicago and they started doing things in Chicago. And of course, the plays are still going on, y'all, but I'm still be talking because I'm going to get out with hell. I'm talking about going out prolonging this. And so, either way, the energies moved from New Orleans up to Chicago, Illinois. Do y'all hear these planes? Do y'all hear these planes? Bitch, that went on for 3 fucking minutes. Are you kidding me? Like, I want to go look at my cameras and see how many fucking planes that was. Like, girl, they don't go by that damn slowly. They normally just go. So that was several. That's about at least 5 fucking planes. Okay. Okay. And so these, you know, Sicilians, they set up camp in New Orleans. And of course, spiritual things were done there. And of course, this is not like, nothing new to people, werewolves, vampires, zombies, these things they're real. These people are actually real. These type of creatures actually exist, and a lot of them are in human form. And so either way, they went into Chicago, and of course, like any other place, before there's any type of demonic and or high ranking we're going to keep on demonic energy could be present or brought in. There has to be a slaying of innocent people. Okay, it has to be pure blood. If you're an evil or you're a mischievous person intentionally, your blood is not pure. The pureness is in innocent people, people who are positive, light people. Their blood and stuff is pure. And so these people, innocent people, have to be taken out for this stuff to open up. And as I always say, and I will continue to say, a lot of times, a lot of bad shit happens, but there's some good shit that come along with this bad shit. And that's how I feel about the current regime like that's running this country. I do feel like there's a lot of, cruel intention, a lot of, mischievous, ill intent behind the movement. But I do feel like there is spirit. There's a high spirit. There's a purpose, right? Like God is allowing all this shit to happen for a reason and to really blow things, uncover things, and that's what we are experiencing. And so, like I said, Chicago is having a breakdown right now, like Washington D.C. did, because there were entities and energies put up to kind of protect certain groups of people. And we're not talking about the immigrants, but certain groups of people that were brought in and sponsored by the immigrants, or the immigrants, the immigrant sponsored was sponsored by these entities. There we go. The immigrants were sponsored by these entities. Yeah, it was brought to my attention just I think recently, like maybe like a month or two ago. There were certain organizations that were paying illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants like $16,000 a month to be in America, and they were able to, do certain things, buy homes and all that stuff. Like, yeah, it gets very deep. The rabbit hole goes very, very deep. And so either way, that is what we are seeing in Chicago, right? Like I said, the Sicilian mafia, other entities setting up, shop in these places and literally watching them being dismantled. As I said before, a lot of people sponsor, a lot of groups sponsor, a lot of things have sponsored innocent people because these people don't know why they were being sponsored. People thought, oh, these people are being nice. So people are donating to me, secretly. They're doing things for me secretly. No, baby, it was intentionally for their end game to go in. And ultimately, like I said, we're seeing that. This is not nothing to, and this is where I kind of get like a little irritated with a lot of these so-called spiritual people, especially American spiritual people, because it was also revealed to me in this process. It was brought up by somebody who likes to also watch other spiritual videos and stuff from other spiritual people. And I said, I bet you there's a spiritual person that they watched that was talking about this. And that's what made them bring this up, right? And then, made me look into it. And so either way, I'm watching these two alleged, we're going to call them psychic twins. Okay. There was these two psychic twins back in the day, y'all. Shit. What was their names? Harry and something. I know it was the L. Lucia, Terry and something. It was Terry with a, and there's an L one. That L one girl, ooh girl, that bitch, ooh. Honey, that L one, honey. Yeah, that L one. Lucia, something. It's something like that. It's L something, y'all. Listen, just type in psychic twins, they'll pop up. And so either way, these psychic twins, they were, doing a lot with a lot with a lot. And y'all, they were on a lot of shows, a lot of radio stations, back in the day. People are talking about them. I would think they were on like Tyra Banks at one point. And so either way, what I've noticed is a lot of these so-called psychics and spiritualists imitate these people. Like y'all, like literally, when I tell you, like these twins, they have like a board on the back of them, right? And I'm seeing it right now. It's like I'm talking to y'all. They have this board on the back of them, and they have these eyes drawn on this board, right? Like all these eyes. And I'm seeing a black spiritualist with all these eyes tattooed on her. And I'm just like, but if you're really tapped in and you really have these abilities, what would be the point of you branding that on you, though? And then, of course, the story is a little fishy anyway, because the person became, psychic and stuff like in their 30s. And I'm like, girl, and maybe, and I always say this too for the sake of conversation, maybe I'm not a psychic. Maybe I'm just somebody who's tapped into the Holy Spirit. Maybe I'm just somebody who knows my shit. I don't know what to call it, girl. I don't know what to say because, like I said, we know there's a man-made word. That's a man-made word, and that's meant to put you in a box. But the way that these people be moving at claiming that they're psychic, I'm just like, girl, I've always had these gifts. Like, girl, and it got amplified the closer I got to 18, but it did not just awaken in me at 33 years old, 34 years old, 35 years old. I'm just, all of a sudden I have an awakening and now I can tap in, I can channel stuff. It doesn't make sense for me, especially if it's of God. And usually people become very psychic when all your senses are unlocked, when there is a, traumatic experience, right? Psychics are known to be able to use more than just 10% of their brain, which I say that's the average person, right? They have all these faculties that are unlocked. And so they're able to, outthink, or they're able to think above and beyond what the layman's or normal people comprehend and understand or even think about, right? And so either way, I don't see, I don't, unless, like you said, you had a traumatic experience at 30 and you never had these abilities and this is what happened. And we're not talking about near death, like a surgical near death or whatever. We're talking about like people get into a state of protection. The psychic ability comes up for them as a way to protect themselves, as it is for a lot of people. They say that LGBT people are highly intelligent, or they're highly, sensitive. They're known to be very clairvoyant, clairaudient, whatever. And that makes sense because the society that they live in right now is very territorial and it's very much anti-them. And it's always been that because they're different. And so, of course, the Holy Spirit or God created a internal system in them so that way they could protect themselves. And it goes very much into like being a woman as well. It says that women intuition. Yes, women were considered weaker beings as far as in this world full of animals and predatorial man. So, of course, the Holy Spirit of God blesses with an internal dialogue or an internal which, by the way, I learned that not to be true neither, because, of course, a lot of people out here are saying that, woman is the soul, men is this and that. And I'm like, but a lot of women don't even have an internal dialogue. So how are you the soul if you don't have an internal dialogue? Like, and there's no shade with that. If you are connected to a higher or greater source and you are the blueprint to all things, then y'all, I'm just saying, I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm just saying, if you are created from the direct source and you are the blueprint for all of mankind, and we're talking about collectively as being a woman, then why doesn't every woman have the ability to tap into their inner dialogue? Why doesn't every woman have the ability to, regardless of what they're going through, to step outside of that? Because it's very similar to when you're in danger, y'all, you're designed to be in a fight or flight state. If you're in danger, you're not gonna run and hide. Like, your body, something is gonna kick in within you and you're gonna say, fuck it, whatever come at me, I'm about to fight it. And girl, this might be like a 4'8", 99-pound woman, and all of a sudden, girl, she get in a state of fear to where she could body slam 20 men, 250-pound man. Girl, let's talk about it. Like, that's what type of energy happened because the way that your body is designed to protect itself, and not to mention the spirit that's within it. So if you're not able to tap into that, I'm willing to say, and I'm willing to stand on that you are soulless and that you collectively as a species is not the blueprint from God. You may be the duplicate, you may have access to, but collectively you can't say that every woman is connected to God. Every woman is the soul of God. You can't say that. And I think also going into the physical manifestation of what we know right now as all logic and reasons of what gender is being questioned, because of course, going into spirit and going into energy, it is masculine, it is feminine. It is not man, it is not woman. You could be a woman and be a man. You could be a woman and be a male. You could be a female and be a man. But gender and sex is two different things. You cannot be a man and be a female. But you could be a man or male and be a woman, because that's mannerisms and that's presentation. Okay. And that goes to a lot of that stuff too. But you can present yourself as what you think you are. But well, I got my breasts and I got this and I got that, but you're not connected to the divine feminine energy though. And so what does that make you? Okay. And so there's a lot with a lot. And I'm sitting here seeing this person, like I said, mimic, and not just this person, but a lot of these American spiritualists or psychics. And y'all, I want you to look up these psychic twins and tell me in comparison, because there's so many type of spiritual abilities that they got. We have over 172 energetic sources within our bodies. We have over 69, and I'm willing to say 72 different type of clairs. Over 72 different types of clairs. How is that everybody's so-called, a psychic or whatever, they all have the same type of readings, the same type of abilities. Nobody can ever just say there's something to just come through with me. I don't know what to call this. Like, girl, there's tools that we can use like dowsing and stuff, but that's another thing too. Where are the authentic dowsers out there? Where are the authentic dowsers out there, y'all? Where's those people at? Why is everybody clairaudient? Why is everybody clairvoyant? Why is everybody tarot reading and tarot reading only? This is just question. And so I'm watching this, y'all. And I'm seeing that these people are really mimicking these women. Like even their presentation, like they were the only ones known to publicly channel celebrities. They were the only ones that were publicly known, and we're gonna say the first that was publicly known to channel celebrities. Not go to a celebrity's house and they're like, can you touch an object, and you tap into Prince energy, and they're tapping in. Like, girl, they were able to like sit in their home and take a pen and paper and write down and interview like Whitney Houston and shit, girl. And I was like, girl, you got other people that started doing now too. And I'm like, well, girl, you've been doing this shit for, 20, 30, 40 years. Why is there no MySpace videos of you doing this? Why is there no earlier YouTube videos like 2008, 2009 of you doing this? Why is everything after like 2015? Why is everything after 2015 and shit? I don't know, like I said, there's just things to think about. And so that's what is going on in Chicago. Like I said, there's a lot of war there. There's always been war there, even going into the French and the root word of what Chicago is, Chicago. Like I said, this is leaky wild garlic. This is garlic, right? And we know that leek, and when it comes to metaphysics, leek is used to identify your allies. So if something is named after leek, L-E-E-K, or anything significant to that, it is used to identify allies. And I told y'all this, well, we didn't talk about this publicly, but privately, even going into like the names, like Nene Leakes, y'all. Someone asked about spiritual energy with Nene Leakes. We had a conversation a couple of weeks ago where they were saying that Nene Leakes is like this Christian woman now. And I said, girl, I don't believe that at all. Going into what I know and going into what I feel, this is a very tall, statuesque woman, like 5'10" to be exact, very big bone, very masculine in nature and energy. And this is a goddess. This is a goddess energy. Y'all, back in the day, the ancient goddesses, they were not 4'11", 5'2", 5'5", 5'6". The ancient goddesses back in the day was like 6 feet tall, 6'2", 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet. And even going into like 1900s, when they were here in the Americas and they started killing off these people, which by the way, that's why a lot of tall people are now coming out. Y'all have 12-year-olds that are like 6'3" and shit. Those energies are coming back. But either way, this is goddess energy, a woman that embodies big a big energy, a small body could not house that energy. That body needed to be big. And y'all even looking throughout history, like Phyllis Hyman's and stuff, like these very powerful vocal house, like women who were able to do certain things. They were big, they were tall in statues, right? They were tall. They were like bigger than the average woman in their era. And like I said, that is goddess energy. So even going into, Nene Leakes, that name Leakes, and even going into her and her energy, her persona, this is a war goddess. This is a goddess that is meant to shift up and change and arrange and to defend certain things. Of course, I do not feel like she stepped into her energy and frequency, because a lot of people do not. But I'm sure in her life growing up and even now that she fought a lot of tumultuous situations, and even going into her, husband that she married twice, Greg, passing away. That also goes into fighting and internal as well. I see like internal dialogue. I see like internal war. I see like internal conflicts, and I see like just a lot of stuff. And of course, this is not me getting into like reading Nini or anything, but we're getting into leaks and what it is. This is used metaphysically to identify allies. This for spiritual protection. It's for insight. Okay, so anything surrounded by leaks, people could say even leaks sound like lake as well. Yeah, depending on your etymology and your tongue, it could be the same. But leaks per se, like I said, is identifying and used to help identify your allies during a time of confusion and a time of war. And even going into garlic is spiritual protection. Garlic is renewing. Garlic is strengthening, right? So this is already telling us that there is meant to have, there is a source for. The whole reason for people settling there and exploring there was to establish some type of battlefield, to establish some type of war zone. And this is what it has manifested in. And I tell you, since the early 1900s, I'm seeing like something between like 1919, 1932. And this energy just kept lingering. And even a lot of people that are in Chicago, some of these people migrated from the South and because Chicago's Midwest, I was going to say the Midwest, but I'm saying like, further Midwest, like Ohio, maybe even like Oklahoma. Like these people migrated up there because like that an energy source, and it's like a umbrella of energy, right? Like a pointed crystal energy shooting out and it's bending outward. And also I would say like a rocket energy too, like, spewing through and heading up north, like through Canada up to even like the North Pole, which I don't even think, like I said, for conversation purposes, that the North Pole even, maybe at one point it was north, but I don't even think that, magnetically and even maybe geographically, the North Pole is actually north, honey. It might be like actually east. I don't know. But anyway, the presence in Chicago and all these other places, y'all, of course, is they're coming in to get American citizens and they're coming in to get illegal citizens. But like I said, this innocent people, casualties will be affected by the big dogs eating up the big dogs. That's just how it is. It's always been. What you can do, and I always say this as well, it just doesn't make sense to me because, I just want to have this conversation because there had different tribes. Let's take it back into the ancient conversation, shall we? Let's have that. Let's have that type of dialogue. There were villages and or tribes of people set up, and they could have looked alike. They could have the same nose, the same ears, the same eyes, the same lips, the same skin color, the same hair texture. But these tribes and these villages were its own place, its own people, and they defended these territories. They defended these villages from intruders, and it was intruders that also looked like them, right? And so even in modern day time, and I always say this, that skin folks is not kin folks. Even in modern day time, a lot of people look alike. A lot of people sound alike. They have the same hair, the same eyes, they have the same skin color and all that, but they're not the same entity. They're not the same energy. And this is why even going into modern day, and it's like I said, it's so sad, it's unfortunate, because the people who may know and they don't want to tell you, or maybe they really don't know and they're just, spewing out the ignorance, but they're like, yeah, the black on black crime is only, there because they learned it from the white man. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, but if you are aware, because we're talking about the 7 stages of grievance, right? Denial is the first thing, right? And then finally you end up accepting it. Finally you end up accepting it, right? If you are aware of this because of the white man, what the masters taught you, that means you are aware of what you're doing is not right. And you'll be doing everything in your power to try to change that. The fact that you're not trying to change that, the fact that you are not trying to shift that tells me that it's deeper than just you trying to mimic or do what the masters told you to do. That this is in you. This is your bloodline. This is your energetic force, your entity, your drive to separate yourself from other people, whether they are looking like you or not externally, because the culture is not the same. And that's why even going into the Americas, we have the Northerners, we have the Southerners, we have the Westerns, and we have the people from the East. Baby, yeah, we all could look alike. They have white Easterns, they got white Northerners, they got white Southerns, they got white Westerns. They're not the same though. They don't move the same. They don't act the same. They don't walk the same. They don't talk the same. They don't think the same neither. Hello? Going into like black people, white people, West Coast black people don't act and think like Southern black folks. And that's why a lot of black folks in the South left out of the motherfucking South as well, because they got tired of that limited narrow-mindedness, if you want to talk about it. Very similar to going into the East Coast and the North. They want to get out that mindset, the mindset that was forced on the Southern folk. Let's talk about it, to dumb you down and to keep you ignorant. By the way, that was their whole purpose, was to keep you ignorant, especially you are of color. They were to keep you ignorant, less than human grade. That's, they wanted to treat you like an animal. They wanted to keep you like an animal. They wanted you to think and talk and walk like an animal. Okay, and that's how these accents came about. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, I'm pointing things out. And so either way, baby, that's who you are. So even going into modern day, and these black people and Hispanic people, black and brown people, killing innocent women and innocent children, y'all, you thought these people were a part of your bloodline, and some of you gave birth to these people. But this war is deeper than just the physical. This is spiritual. A lot of people's spirit has come back to avenge what was done to their ancestors in the past. A lot of them were here to set up and fuck some shit up. And I even said that about black folks and white folks. In my honest opinion, if I feel like black people were meant to avenge what their ancestors endured in this country, I do feel like the ancestors will be smart enough, if I may, to have you come back as a white man or white woman and to fuck some shit up, change some laws, redirect some frequencies. Can we talk about it? Even going into making your children look very racially ambiguous. A lot of people have black children that look like they're white. A lot of people have black children that look outside of black. They don't look black or white. They look Hispanic or they look Filipino. Like, girl, I've seen some very, different type of multiracial mixed people, all throughout California for sure. But you're like, wait, what? You say you're white and black. Wait, what? And you're just looking at this person. You're like, I don't see it at all. Are you sure you're not adopted? And when you see the mama, you're like, damn, you look just like your mama. Like, it's crazy, right? But this is all spiritual protection. This is all the ancestors venging or coming back to get their revenge. Because now they're coming through, and of course they're going to instill some type of level of intelligence in these people to fuck some shit up. Now that you come into this office looking like you got on white face or black face, now you're here to change the laws. Now you're here to make it to where blacks and whites are equal. But see, that hasn't happened, which tell me that the fight and the struggle is a little higher up than what we think it is. It goes back a little deeper spiritually. But like I said, these are conversations people don't want to have who claims to be spiritually in tune. If you're spiritually in tune, stop talking about black people being oppressed in America. If you're spiritually in tune, stop talking about how minorities are treated in America if you're really spiritually in tune, because you know what the purpose is. You know when, why, and how. And you also know how to get through it. You also know how to reverse it. You also know how to level up. And so, like I said, the main problem, the reason I was getting into that, is people want to come together mysteriously when someone bigger and stronger than them bullies them. But before that bigger bully shows up to the party, oh girl, they bullying everybody. Girl, they coming in the party. They pantsing people, giving people wedgies, snapping the bra strap, pulling off lace fronts. Girl, they throwing water on the makeup to let them know that that's not really what they look like with makeup, without makeup. But girl, they letting the girls and the boys have it. But when the big bullies step in, where they know they can't pull those tricks and tips and dicks with, hello, now is we need to come together. We need to have an ally. We need to come. No, 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 no. Bitch, I'm minding my business like I did when you were bullying when you first when I first saw you enter the party, I stayed out the way. Now as long as you're not coming for me and what I think is connected to me, and that means directly, you call it out and say, yo, Mystic Persia, yo, Madam Merkaba, yo, Fallon, yo, Mia, yo, whatever. Bitch, I'm coming for you and I'm talking to you. Baby, I'm out of my business, girl. Because collectively, and that's what people got to remember too, when you have to feed your children, when my grandmama had to feed my uncles and aunties, the community didn't come together. Your mom over there in Illinois, Chicago, Mississippi, Alabama, y'all didn't check on my grandma. Y'all would say, hey, yo, girl, you need help to feed all those children over there? Y'all was to go on to work for her to make sure she had food in her house and a roof over her fucking head. Y'all want busting y'all backs out. Can we talk about it? So why do I have to help you eat? Why have to help you put food on your table? But when I was hungry and I needed a place to stay, you didn't build no motherfucking roof for me and you didn't throw no food on my motherfucking table. And that's one thing I can say about Cardi B. Y'all, I don't really care for Cardi B because I think that Mama's a criminal and I think that she done some fucked up shit in the past and it's going to come back and get her eventually. She drugging these clients and shit and all that good shit, knowing she shouldn't be fucking with these clients anyway. So sometimes it's the devil in fucking disguise, girl. Good a real job, girl. You wouldn't have to worry about these clients trying to rob you and keep your fucking money. Hello? You play by the sword, you die by the sword. Can we talk about it? Hello? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You play by the sword, you get tricked by the sword. But like she said, I do what I have to survive because won't nobody gonna feed me. Bingo. That's how it is. Collectively, there's no I'm joining in, I'm joining forces. I need to girl, these people don't give a fuck about you. And that'd be another thing too. They come together to get their goal. And if they have the opportunity to come out that goal and to get above you, they're gonna take opportunity, they're gonna let you sink. They're going to get you set up to where you're right in the eyes of the enemy. The enemy you're close enough for the enemy to strike you. One of the masterminds say, hey, this is the leader. She's the weak one. He's the weak one. Let's try to get them to get on our side so we can attack these weak ones. Girl, they get the opportunity. Yes. You what? You going to give me immunity, protection? Oh, yeah, I'll join your side. And now, girl, right there, they done led you to the enemy. And now the enemy's about to devour your ass. And that's how it's always been. And so like I said, for me, I'm not over here checking on what Chicago got going on. I'm not over here checking on what Maryland got on. It's an unfortunate situation. Well, these people over there got power. Allegedly, there's witches and psychics and warlocks and stuff over there in Chicago. Allegedly, they got it over there in Memphis too. They got it over there in Maryland. They had it over there in LA. They got it over there all over, allegedly, girl. Let the TikTok tell you there's witches everywhere. Why can't these witches protect? Why do I have to come forward and put my nose in other people's business? That doesn't affect me. Because like I said, nobody wasn't out here riding with my brothers and sisters during the cafeteria area, Compton cafeteria area. They weren't out here riding for, and we go even into personal situations. Bitch, when I was going against legal entities for being who I was and they wanted me to be what they wanted me to be, nobody jumped in and was like, I'm going to help fight this cause. I'm going to make an organization that's going to protect, even though I'm not LGBT, but I'm going to make a organization that's going to help this person. No, girl. I had to go down to the transgender. I had to go down to the transgender law center. I had to go connect with the transgender law center to get my shit. And so, like I said, that's where my stance is on that. I do not like when people try to come collect it, especially when you can't save yourself, baby. You got your own wars to be fighting, girl. How the fuck you not out here fighting your own wars and winning your own wars, but mysteriously you want to come together? And y'all, today we coming on here on behalf of the ancestors, and I'm calling on everybody ancestors, including yours. Girl, y'all been calling on these ancestors all these years, girl, and I haven't seen a fuck ass thing happen. I still haven't seen the reparations happen. I still haven't seen no exclusive act that were put out that's going to protect African American people, especially the women. I have yet to see any of this, y'all. But we talking about powers, and we're talking about chess, not checkers, right? We're talking about big one eats little one, right? We're talking about the game of fishing, fishing game. That's what we talk about. We talk about the hunting game, right? Girl, we out here shooting and shit, and girl, we collecting squirrels and possums instead of elk and bison. That's what I'm over here talking about. And see, I know that goes off a lot of people's head because a lot of people don't comprehend. They don't have the ability to comprehend or even critically think. I don't expect everybody to get it. But like I said, for me, I'm looking at it like, girl, I'm not coming together. I'm not, girl. People who are over there trying, and they're like, listen, I need you to show me how to connect with my ancestors. I need you to show me how to, like, baby, I'm down to definitely connect to you and show you how to do that. I'm definitely down to tap into your spirit out. I'm definitely down to help you do that. But me, just out the blue, voluntarily saying, hey, what y'all got going over there in Chicago? What y'all got going over there in Washington, D.C.? What y'all got going over there in L.A.? Let me jump in. Girl, I'm minding my business. And I say this very respectfully, and I say this very equal, across the board. Y'all, when they were over here trying to ban the whole transgender thing, right now, allegedly things are going on to move the Transgender Premium Act and blah, 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 blah. And by the way, a lot of transgender people are uninsured anyway, so that doesn't even really matter. But allegedly, the act is going on to make the premiums a little higher. But I'm even going back even to where, they were trying to cut down these sites and there was no more transgender, either male or female. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, to me, that personally wouldn't affect me in a medical setting because HIPAA still protects my rights. So regardless of what you're calling me in that office, because it is what it is, then we know that even for medical sake and medical terms, my medical record said female, but on the back end, it says transgender female. And if they wanted to remove that and just say male, like say for medical state, girl, like I wouldn't be in an uproar about that because that's private, that's personal. Now, when he got into the idea and stuff, I'm like, okay, that's the fight that I am going to do for myself to protect myself, because people are telling about other girls in California, other girls in LA, other girls in which, by the way, I wasn't saying it like that. These people were giving me like they popcorn. What they said, transition, but not really the woman in the inside. What they say, transition, but not really transgender. There you go, bingo. I was seeing that. And I was like, girl, this is giving very much. And girl, this is not giving that you're trying to blend in with society. This is not giving that at all. So I'm just like, that doesn't affect me. And I kept telling people that were bringing this up. I was like, yeah, that doesn't apply to me. That doesn't apply to me. And I don't know I think they didn't give a fuck, but I'm like, I don't know if they were like, oh, this bitch don't really see it for the people. No, like I said before, baby, I had to escort to pay my bills. I had to get on camera and take off my clothes to pay my bills. There was no transgender. There was no tranny. There was no gender binary, non-binary come out and say, hey, yo, sis, I see that you're trying to make it happen. What can I do to help you? I can offer you room and board. There was no bitch doing that shit. So, bitch, what the fuck I look like getting here fighting for a war for a bitch that didn't give a fuck about me? And whether or not they knew about me or not, I'm saying collectively that consciousness was not out here trying to fight for me and provide for me. I have to provide for my own motherfucking stuff. So, bitches, it's survival of the fittest. You have to protect yourself. You have to figure out what is good for you and go out and do it. It can't be a cap to save a hoe when you're sinking. There was somebody I was talking to, not even a full circle experience, Sean. I'm be done. This motherfucker lived over here in a state. I'm not gonna say because people I know the fuck we're talking about, and I don't want them to be like, this bitch over talking about you, because I don't give a fuck. He checked me. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say what the fuck I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say what the fuck I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna stand on it, girl. Check me, bitch, because I reach to your motherfucking face, girl. Man, woman, boy, girl, Christian, Jew, Muslim, Buddhist, Satanist, Christian. I don't give a fuck, girl. You all can get it. So this motherfucker over here, I guess I don't know what it is about these people. I don't know what it is about these people where they just get older and they don't think that they're gonna have to take care of themselves. I like that. I don't know what that is. But I'm like, girl, I was already thinking about being on my own at like 15 years old. Like, girl, I got to get out of here. I'm ready to get my own shit. I don't know how people are like 30 years old plus and they're trying to like depend on their family and shit. Like, I'm like, girl, that was my first thing to make sure I had my own shit, girl. That was my first thing. And I did not have my own vehicle when I first moved out of my parents' house because I was afraid of driving. But trust me, I was not afraid of driving at the time. I would have my own shit. But by the way, this motherfucker moved out of his parents' house to go be a sissy. and this is not a cut in. Y'all, hello. We go for conversational purposes to be a sissy. He moved out his parents' house because his parents didn't know that he liked dick. So he moved out to parents' house to go get some dick. And then he moved in, and then girl, he thought he was living the life. He was like, woo, 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 I'm living a lie. I'm living a lie. He was partying, girl, parlaying, girl, spending all this money instead of saving his money. He was buying Marine Serre. He was buying Gucci, Versace, Balenciaga. He was buying the labels. Girl, who is that? McQueen, Alexander McQueen. Let me go get that. Let me go cop that. Let me go. Girl, he was spending this money. I'm not thinking about no savings or any of that. And it's a gag to me, y'all, too, because this family is an immigrant. And I'm just like, I'm a non-immigrant person. I'm always thinking about my future. So I'm like, I could imagine being in a place where you're not safe and say, oh, I don't have to worry about saving and or having a future or protecting myself. Girl, that'll be my number one focus, girl. Fuck all the dumb shit, girl. Fuck a friend, fuck a man, fuck me moving into a man's house because I need some dick. Look, girl, I'm gonna make sure that I'm good before anything else. But this motherfucker, get over here, get his shit. Him and his guy break up. The guy kick him out. He had to move back in with his parents, y'all. Mind you, while he's in his parents' house, he's still making money allegedly, averaging about $4,000 to $6,000 a month. But guess what? The motherfucker wasn't saving. He was blowing the money on weed, blowing the money on labels once again. Well, here we go in 2025, and the motherfucker's just looking so pitiful, so sad, and so sickening. Like, what am I gonna do? And I'm trying to get another 1,500 so that I can blank, blank, blank. Like, he's going crazy, y'all, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, but you had it. You were getting like $10,000 plus a month before. Where did all that money go if you don't have a car and you don't have your own place? And you don't have no children? Where did that money go? And then to have that money and still be living with somebody, that's crazy as fuck to me, y'all. That right there, and I don't know if that's the ego thing for me, but I personally could not be making it and living like I'm a bum. Like, that's traumatic for me to think about. Like, be making it and having it, but I'm forced to be in situations that I'm not comfortable in. And clearly he's not comfortable living with his parents. That's why he moved out the first time. He wants to suck. He wants to get fucked, but he can't do it at his parents' house. And so either way, y'all, I told him, I said, baby, you got to get that shit together. So y'all, here we go, fast forwarding. He had a friend that he met when he was in jail. And his friend was like, hey, I need to come and stay at a house because I'm homeless. I'm going to be on the streets, whatever. So he go get this friend to move in, y'all. Mind you, this is like a shack type of house. This is a shack type of house with already 9 people in it. 9 people in it already and 5 dogs. 5 dogs and 2 cats already. So you got 7 animals in a shack style house with all these people, y'all, by the way. 9 people. He going to let this homeless friend move in. And now, mind you, he's sleeping on the couch. On the floor, the friend also doing it. And I told him flat out, like, baby, you cannot be Captain Save a Hoe when you can't save yourself. How the fuck you trying to save somebody and you sinking? And he's like, what the fuck you talking about? What the fuck you talking about? And I'm like, honey, you're sinking yourself. You have a roof over your head by the grace of God. What I look like somebody allowing me to stay with them, whether it's mama, daddy, sister, and I'm bringing somebody else saying, oh, I'm homeless, so let me bring some. Because bitch, you homeless. You're not on that lease. You're still homeless, babe. You can live somewhere. That don't mean you're not homeless. Being not on a lease means you're homeless. Bitch, how the fuck? Well, let me move somebody else in because they need help, so I'm going to help them. I need help too. The fuck? So, y'all, I told him flat out. I said, you know what? I'm going to watch this unfold. He's like, what does that mean? I said, I'm going to watch this unfold because I know that your parents or somebody's not going to be happy with that. Like, I feel like this took up some type of energy, y'all. Sure enough, fast forwarding just a couple of days ago, he's like, oh my God, we got to move into a bigger house. Oh, we got to get a house. We got to get a house. We got to get a house. I would love to have a house over here, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, what happened? Yeah, please tell everybody what happened. Because this is amazing what happened. What happened? Why y'all need a bigger place now? You've been here for 5 years, right? 3 years for sure, but 5 years for certain. Hello? 3 years for sure, 5 years for certain. You've been here. So what's going on? Well, there was a lot going on and, something came out, someone came out and they said that, we have to disperse. And so they're giving us like 90 days. And I'm like, listen, baby, when you thought you were going to be Captain Save a Hoe, when you thought you were going to be saving everybody but yourself, that's what that energy did. You thought you were going to be saving your friend. Your friend didn't give a fuck about being safe because this is a grown ass man, girl. He could have faked it. Hey, he could do what all these other men do. Act like he was in with one of these women, like, I love this woman, I want to be with her. Moved in with her, and daddy could have stayed with her. But instead, he wanted to so, and this still called as a straight man, and you're, an open man. You like men and women. And he's aware of that because y'all played around before. So this is a DL man. Girl, why would he want to move in with, like, I mean, I'm thinking in my right mind, what grown man would want to move in with his friends and his family and his friend? Like, girl, I was just like, what is going on with people? What is going on with people? Where's the mindset at? And girl, you want to be safe, but you don't want to figure out your own shit. Like that, I cannot step in and save if you're not trying to be safe. If you're trying to be safe, you're going to educate yourself on how to be safe. You're going to educate yourself. Well, what can I do to make things right? Because you're either going to go with it or you're going to go against it. Going against it, you got to still confront it either way. Whether you're going to go against it or go with it. Going with it would be, you know what? I'm just going to abide by my parents' rules because I have to be here. And I'm just going to abide by the rules. Going against it would be, you know what? Let me try to get my own place so that way I can bring in friends to stay with me. And there you go. And that's with anything. You're either going to go with it. A good example. I committed a crime. Let's say I did something and okay, boom. Let's talk about it. Let's say a ticket. Let's say I owed a ticket and I didn't pay this ticket. You don't pay this ticket. They put a warrant out for your arrest because you did not go to court to fight the ticket or anything. You didn't pay it. You get a bench warrant. Girl, you get arrested. They make you get booked, whatever. Girl, you could be on the run forever, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. And so, like I said, going with it would be just, hey, either go pay the ticket or expect them to find me eventually and I get fucked up. And that's like, I'm thinking in my mind, this is like common sense. This is like someone with a brain. This is somebody who can think. Like, you're either going to go with it or you're going to go against it. Like, there's not no straddling the fence and then you're getting frustrated with yourself and everybody else because they're not seeing you straddling the fence. Like, you're either going to go with it, educate yourself with what you need to do to protect yourself and say, hey, okay, fuck it. I'm going to whatever. I'm going to go with the flow. If they're looking for me, I'm going to just expose myself. Or you're going to say, no, fuck it. I ain't going to go do that. What can I do to get out this? Let me educate myself so I know how to fight it. Let me educate myself. Let me get all the knowledge I need to where when they do come, baby, I can protect myself. But like I said, people don't have that. It's like, girl, I'm not jumping in to save you. Girl, Chicago's been dealing with for a very, very long time. These people are aware of these energies, these frequencies, but instead a lot of people be out here trying to fuck on the same man, get pregnant by the same man, tie down a man who don't want them. A lot of them be trying to do a lot of fuck up ass shit, girl, no shade, not just in Chicago, but all over. And girl, now all of a sudden they're coming in and say, oh, I'm innocent, I don't want them to get me. Why do I need to remind you as a spiritual service provider? I've always talked about protection. Why do I have to beg you to say, hey, come and get protection work done? Hey, I'm going to force myself out and show you how to protect yourself. You should be seeking that yourself. You should be wanting that yourself. You should want to be getting protection from the system. You should be wanting to be safe. And even if that means relocating, that means stepping outside of that area until it all dies down, because that's what's going on. This is a purge, honey. This is a purge. Honey, this is a cleansing of these spirits. This is a cleansing of these energies, y'all. Blood baths. Blood was spilled. And it wasn't just by these entities. It was by some of y'all children. Some of y'all children got caught up in that energy and they start taking out their own family. They start taking out their own friends. They start taking out their own sons and daughters. And don't let it be a rivalry. Don't let it be the son got caught up in some stuff and they came back and told you that your son was on some shit and he was connected to shit. Now you take him out and now you're on the news acting like you're so sad that your son is gone. Bitch, you were part of your son's demise. You exit your son up out of here. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. You helped him exit out of this place, girl. So like I said, girl, I mind my business. The innocent people, two things: learn how to protect yourself or get the fuck out. And that goes in LA, that goes in Washington, D.C., that goes in Atlanta, that goes in Oakland, that goes in all over, wherever, Seattle, that goes to all the other places that have underlying roots that are going to be purging eventually. Get the fuck out. Because the ones that are going to stay, these are the ones that are employed by certain organizations to instill fear and to terrorize. Because they need energy like that to feed. They need energy like that to grow. They need energy like that to stay strong. And so now all of a sudden, be on the lookout. And we all know that the ones you need to be on the lookout are the ones that you know. We all know that you have a higher chance of being hurt by somebody you know than a complete stranger. If you don't believe that, look that up. We all know that you have a higher chance of being any crime committed against you by someone you know, not a random stranger. Because random strangers don't know your schedule. They don't know what you like. They don't know what you dislike. But the people who know you, they do know. So it's like, girl, a random person just knew, just so happened at 7:00 you were going to be gone and this happened, or they just knew that you were going to be at the corner market. I've never heard those stories. Maybe we'll do a midnight mansion or something on that, where just mysteriously the son or daughter or friend is like, you know what? I think I'm going to go down to the corner market and go get me a bag of hot Cheetos, a soda, and a Snicker bar. And then mysteriously, they go out this time on this particular day, and then they run into a situation, and now they leave. That was the last time you heard from them. And then all of a sudden it's, we don't know. We're still looking for the serial, or we're still looking for the perpetrator. Like, girl, what? And we're not saying all of it, but it's like, how, like, I do believe that sometimes you're at certain spots for a reason, but it's like, how would that be possible that this person, out of all the days, this day, and that person too, it wasn't always a random act. Yeah, like, what would be the act? Like, girl, what? Oh, this is a store that he normally goes to. How know the perpetrator went out there waiting the whole time? Like, he might come here today. They say he like to make little quick stops down here. Hello? We just saying, honey. We're just speaking. Okay. Hey, the historian girl 14. Hey, Lady K, how you doing? Hey, Phoenix Juke L. Who you doing? But I just wanted to stop by here. I want to tell you guys about the energies. And of course, I was going to do like a Beyond Left Gate on it, which we could still do it. But there's a lot of energy. And of course, it kind of like, that's the epic center. And it kind of like trickles down into like other areas like Milwaukee. And then you have Michigan, or excuse me, Detroit, that also got a little remnants of this energy. And like I said, it really started down there in New Orleans. And even going into people like going to Chicago and hiding and doing certain things there in the underground. And I even see like a connection between back and forth too. Like a lot of people that are wanted for crimes in New Orleans are in Chicago and Chicago surrounding area, and vice versa. A lot of people that are wanted for crimes in Chicago are in New Orleans. It's the easiest, quickest way to get up out of there. Like I said, I feel like there's some type of like system of outside of like freeways and highways, but like buses, like Amtrak's, like there's something that like, girl, that you can easily get on and go down there. And this is like multiple times throughout the day too, not just at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 11 at night, 12 at night. And like I said, I did also with Atlanta, but it's not too heavy. The flow is not as heavy as I'm seeing with Chicago. Like I'm seeing a lot of energy going up there. A lot of people doing work, coming back and forth, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's a high traffic connection. Okay. And so, yeah, there we go. So that's pretty much it, honey. Hey, Coco Curry. That's pretty much it, you guys. I'm going to go. Like I said, I just got up when I got on here. I wanted to address that because, of course, like I said, I don't like when I see people try to be captive, save a hoe. Like, girl, save yourself. Save yourself, ma'am. Or sir. Save yourself. And that's the, and it kind of as a little side note. I was sitting here thinking, y'all, and we talked about this before. As a woman of a particular experience who dealt with men in a different type of way, right? Because we have our shadow self, right? And I consider myself a shadow worker. And what I mean by that is I deal with people beneath the surface. And sometimes they come out, right? But I deal with them beneath the surface, and even going into like the men, right? And discreet, being discreet and stuff, and men having certain fantasies, certain ideas, and it doesn't have to even be gay ideas or gay fantasies, but they have fetishes that they cannot come out and tell their family and friends about because they'll be judged. Or the mom will say, "Oh my God, what did I do? What did you experience as a kid?" They don't want to be judged. That's the main thing. They don't want to be judged for who they are, so they want to keep it a secret. And I keep these secrets. And so I have met a lot of men throughout the years, and I know how men are through that work. And if you want to call it prostituting, you can. For sure, sex working, right? And so I've learned men's deepest, darkest secrets. I learned men's deepest perverted fantasies. When I used to call things out and I would say certain things about men, privately, not publicly, people would say, I don't think that. I don't think that. I'm like, well, I don't think you're as experienced as me, though. Like, you may have had some type of entertainment or some type of connection with men, because clearly you like men as well. But when I say I've traveled, when I say I've seen men, even like the most put together conservative man, right? The men that look like he wouldn't be into ethnic people. He wouldn't be into trans. He wouldn't be into LGBT. And girl, when I got to connect with them on that shadow level, they wanted it all. And it was like, baby, I want it all. I want to try this. I want to try that. And it's like, wait, what? And you're just looking like they don't give me that they'll be into this. But once again, we're dealing with the shadow self. And so, like I said, once I learned these things about men, and I'm willing to say that if we had to get into a percentile or percentage of it, I've dealt with a lot of men, and no, not all of them have had sexual experiences with me. Because, like I said, I was a femdom, which means I dealt with people's fetishes and fantasies, and I helped them to explore them. A lot of times, I connected people with men. A lot of times, men wanted to try, twink, but they wanted to try muscle men, and so I would link them up with these people. And so either way, and no, not like a madam or mistress or any of that. No, this was like literally a man say, hey, I want to have this experience, but I want to be guided by you. I don't feel comfortable just meeting up with this man. I need kind of like a comfort, and I want you to be there. And so we did it as, there you go. Like, hey, I'm a mistress. I have a sub who's trying to, try this and that. You come and explore if you're down for that. If you're not down for that, that's okay. And then of course they would come in, I'll be there with them, and bam, girl, they'll have their little session, bam, bam, there you go. And of course I would host it too, because the man didn't have a place, he didn't want to go to a hotel. And then of course same thing with the person who was involved in it. Once again, not a paid situation. I got paid, okay, but the people were not paid. Okay. So girl, because that gets a little fishy right now. People are like, wait, what? Yeah, I got paid, honey, because you employed me to offer these services for you. And then there we go. And then, okay, well, baby, you want to have fun with a trade? Let me help you do that. Let's come over here. Let's do it. This man is a whatever. Are you into that? Yeah, I am. Bam. Okay, let's get it set up. Anyway. So once I've learned these things about these men, y'all, like I cannot unsee these things. I cannot unknow these things. I know these energies. I know man, 10:10 right now too, but I looked at the clock. I was like, what time is it? 10:10, so 11. So like I said, y'all, when it comes down to me, like talking to men, because this was kind of like brought up in the past, where people are like, they're always reading women. They won't read a man down. I've never been with a woman intimately. I never had the insides of a woman. I never explored a woman sexually. And so going up against that type of energy would be more of a challenge, if we have to put in this perspective, not a bullying situation, but more of a challenge, because I don't know, let's say from layman's terms, I wouldn't know the in and out of women, right? Of females. I wouldn't know the ins and out of that. The only thing I would know about that would be something that I'm in tune with, something that I've acquired But I wouldn't know what that's like. Going into men, me reading down a man, me having a reading challenge with a man would be me bullying. Because I had all types of men. I've dealt with all types. And like I said, from lawyers, no, let's go up higher. Judges on down, okay, to the average Joe, which we don't do average Joes no more. And there's no tea no shade with that. If I ever was to get into the adult stuff and all that, we won't be doing that because those are the ones that try to get you together, girl. The ones that, the ones that ain't got shit to lose, but they want to hide what they want to hide. Yeah, those be the ones that try to get your ass together, honey. But either way, that was just a little side note. But I know, like, I can look at a man and I can tell what this man is into fetish wise. I can tell what this man is into sexual wise. I can tell. And so, like I said, for me, I don't care to have a reading challenge with a man because it would be a point of like exposing. In a way, it will look like this person is exposed because even going into this too, I learned this, that, and of course, it's just a little side conversation. Even going into like, when a man is confronted about his energies, people are like, these people want everybody to be gay. These people want everybody to want them. And I always tell people, I don't know about these people, but I know about me. Dick don't break me. A man touching and rubbing on me doesn't break me. A man saying that I'm beautiful doesn't make me or break me. It doesn't make me feel better. It doesn't heighten my security. It doesn't heighten my confidence. The fact that my mother says that I'm beautiful, the fact that my mother says she loves me, that's what builds up my confidence. That's what builds up. And then most importantly, when I see myself in the mirror, when I'm around myself, I could be by myself. I enjoy who I am. That's what build up my confidence. That's what build up who I am. That's my validation. I don't need nobody to tell me who I am. And that even segues into a lot of people who are of this experience or of, we can say, the LGBT community. These people are really in a state of confusion. There's some trauma there and they need people to validate their experience. And when their experience is not validated, now they're upset and they're angry and now they want to fight people. And it's like that comes from within, baby. If you feel like this woman or this man in the inside, the outside world don't see that inside. So let them say what they want to say on that outside or do what you can, the best way you can to make the outside look like the inside. But that whole girl, you're trying to convince them to see what you see and they're not seeing it, girl. Everybody's not delusional in that sense. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, if that's who you are, be that, live that. That doesn't, people are making fun of it, so I don't want to do it. So is that really who you are? And I said, I even watched something where this guy, which we're going to even top on that too. And I'm going to tell you why I even brought that up. Well, because it just popped up, but I was going to do a little something on that. But this guy was used to be gay guy, and he was so flamboyant and so feminine and just so, like, I was struggling with my sexualities and the spirit of the Lord came in and just the blinking and just the feminine and, just moving and shit. And I'm just like, and he's like, well, I was violated when I was a kid. But I'm like, does being violated constitute to being feminine though? Because I feel like you are who you are. I feel like certain experiences heightened who you are, but I feel like there's a lot of men that are masculine that were violated. I think there's a lot of women out there that are violated that are still feminine. I'm like, where does being violated make you something that you're not? How does that make you gravitate towards identity that you're not? Like, even if the person said, girl, hey girl, oh, you gonna be my bottom bitch. In your mind, you're gonna be like, but I'm not a girl, I'm a boy. Like, girl, what? Like, unless you're transgender and you, like I said, you're not aware of that and you're in that state of, it doesn't make sense. So that's what this guy was implying, that he was gravitating toward this identity because he was touched as a kid. And I'm just still thinking to myself, like, but where did that constitute that you're feminine? Because, like, being gay doesn't mean feminine. There's a lot of men that like dick and want to get fucked and they look like men. So I'm like, at that, I just feel like just a lot of people are just already confused. I feel a lot of people don't know which way to go. And I feel like a lot of people, when they feel like they're in the wrong, because I think a lot of LGBT people feel they have like guilt and shame with them. They feel shameful or guilty about being who they are because it's not how society wants them to be. And so they struggle with a lot of depression, a lot of, picking and choosing what they want to be. And that's what I feel like with this person, that's what he was feeling and going through, is that like, damn, I'm in a state of confusion. Like, I know who I am. but I don't feel like people are accepting that aspect of me. I don't want this to hinder this aspect of me. This is not who I want to be. And that also is like what they thought imposter syndrome type of thing. And so he's like, the Lord has rescued me. And even like in his crying, right? Because he was crying in this video. It was looking like he was crying out of, I was fighting it, and I'm so glad that God set me free. No, that crying was him still wrestling with the idea that he's a homosexual. Him wrestling with it that he's a homosexual, and he wants to make everybody proud. He want to make people happy. He wants to please people. And maybe the people are not directly come out and tell him, like, I don't want you to be homosexual, but he want to please that. And so either way, like I said, just, I had to tap into that a little bit, about people taking on identity shit that's not theirs, and they're saying that an experience made them gravitate to that. But it's like, girl, if anything, I mean, like, that's kind of even scary to think about it. If anything, that makes you a little untrustworthy. That makes you a little bit of like, nobody could trust you because you don't even trust yourself. Because how do you not know what you like? How do you not know what you don't, what you identify? It's like, how do you not know that? Fuck what everybody else is thinking and feeling. How do you not know that you like dick and you're always gonna like dick? How do you not like? How do you know that? And well, I like it, but I really don't like it. And I think I don't like it because it is. Well, then change that. So there's no inner dialogue and there's no conversation with other people, because at the end of the day, we really don't care. Unless, to say once again, you're trying to prove to somebody else that you are something that you're not. Unless you're trying to debunk that, yes, I may be this, but I'm a recovering. Because it goes into like the Donnie McClurks and shit too. I'm just like, girl, but there's a lot of men that are like used to be gay, and they're just used to be gay. They've done gay shit and they don't do gay shit no more. But they're not feminine. It's like, maybe you are gay and maybe you just don't feel like you're ashamed of that. Maybe that's your guilt trip. You're guilt tripping yourself. And so now it's, save me, get me out of this. I don't know. That's just what I feel. But like I said, I know energy. I know men. I know, through experience what it looks like. And so like I said, for me, I cannot unsee that. And even going into like a little bit of slight reads that I was giving, because someone was like, well, how you know? And is that you pushing on them that they're perverted and all that? Yeah, any man that I've mentioned about, or any man that I threw under the bus, if you want to call it that, those are genuine feelings. Those are me looking into those eyes and me knowing, because I've seen thousands, if not millions of eyes. Okay, I did virtual, and I did in person. Hello? I've seen people's eyes, and I know what it looked like when there's a secret there. Going into what steam from this too, because, just pop back up the source of all this. Somebody was, and let's go hand in hand. I'm gonna wrap this up because I got things I gotta do, which I think we all do, by the way. I went to a gay area, okay, not too long ago, in a city. It was a gay area, and it looked so gay, y'all. It was like they had like gay flags, tranny flags, tranny flags, gay flags. I said tranny flags. Oh my God. They had all these flags, y'all. And I was like, oh, this is such a gay district. Okay, I see the gayness. Work, honey. And it was kind of giving emptiness. And they said, yeah, because it pops that night. I was like, okay, so I guess the freaks come out at night. I go one street over, y'all. I turned down this one street because so a lot of one-way streets in this area. So I had to go up a street to make like a U-turn. As I go up the street, there's 2 houses away from this gay area, and they had like Bible scriptures and like the American flag and like Uncle Sam on the yard and shit, and quoting Bible verses and crosses everywhere. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, y'all, every year during Gay Pride, y'all, there's these groups of Bible study people. And we're going to say pastors, because that's what they say they are. These pastors will go to the Gay Pride. They'll be outside the gate, and they'll be saying, God hates fags, or you're going to hell, or, reading Bible scriptures and shit. You guys are so, you guys took the rainbow flag, which, by the way, they didn't take the rainbow flag. Somebody else did, girl. The people that probably not even at that fucking Gay Pride took the rainbow flag, or took the flag and make the rainbow thing, girl. They didn't do that. But y'all took the rainbow flag, and God said that there will be a rainbow as a peace offering. Y'all sodomized it. In my mind, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, y'all, and this is just true, true, true. In my honest opinion, clearly in America, we all are aware of Christianity. In America, we are all aware of Christians or people who think they're Christians. Let's say that. People who want to be like Christ. People who are trying so hard to be like Christ. And hell, sometimes they'll kill their own mama to be like Christ. Hell, sometimes they'll kill their own baby to be like Christ. Okay, hello? But we all heard about it. We all heard about it. And clearly, if this is, I mean, we're speaking just for conversation. If these homosexual or fags want to go to hell, clearly they want to go to hell. Let them go to hell. Who appointed or gave people the power to say, no, you're going to go out and you're going to drill it in their head and you're going to tell them that they need to go to church and that they're going to hell and they don't repent? Who said that? Who gave you that? What scripture, what passage would say, go into the Sodom and Gomorrah? Because remember, that's how Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed allegedly, right? Remember that? They went into the city with the angels, and they went into converse with what's his name? Job, Peter, Locke, Thomas, Michael, Paul, all the same. Hello. And they had a conversation with him and his wife about, y'all better get up out of here because I came here to give y'all one more chance. God is giving y'all one more chance, but because we know y'all are good. Everybody else here is bad. Okay, but we need you to take your wife and your daughters, and we need you to get up out of here. And even when the angels came in, you know what I mean? The people, the homosexuals, are like, who are these fine men? Who are these fine niggas? I want a piece of that. Because every visitor who came in got a piece of that. And I'm going to even say, too, anyway, let's not get into that. So what ended up happening is, y'all, allegedly that's how Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. Sometimes these people want to be in the fire line. They want to be in the line of fire. Sometimes these people want to test the gangster. So and that's just that. But of course, going into the back of this, y'all, and of course, I'm thinking about a lot of shit, y'all, and comparing and contrasting and shit while we're talking about this. From my experience, the ones that push that type of narrative be the ones that be child violators and womanizers and woman abusers. I have not met any one of these pastors or any one of these spiritual people that are out here protesting for God at gay parades and gay prides and stuff. Because, clearly, girl, this is less than 1% of the population. So you won't be that bothered. Why are you not at the bars? Why are you not at the clubs? Why are you not at the bars? Why are you not at the porn shops? I mean, we have to make it make sense here. Why are you not at these other places where it really matter, where people may want to really find God? Because maybe they're at the bar looking for God. People are not at the gay clubs looking for booty to find God. They're not looking for Jesus via anal sex. They're not looking for Jesus via oral sex. They're not looking for Jesus via DPs and orgies and shit. They're not looking for Jesus via that. Some people be really wrestling with spirit of God and stuff in the bars and stuff. Because even Jesus got drunk. Hello? Some people really be looking for Jesus through the experience of drugs. They want to escape this reality so they get high. Can we talk about it? So why are you not at the dispensaries preaching the word of God? Because you will really probably find somebody there. You're not going to have a homosexual walk out the gay party and say, all right, brother, hallelujah, baptize me. I want to give for... Like, girl, what? What? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And so that's what I've learned, that it be these people, pedophiles, womanizers, that be pushing this shit. Oh, go, oh, this a nigga, oh, this a... Like, girl, if you are content with your life, if you're happy with your life, and you know for sure where you're going is where you're going, baby, you should be preparing yourself. You should be using all your 75 years, all your 80 years, all your 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Some of them only live to be like 35, 36, 37. Charlie Kirk was one of them, girl. Didn't live to see too long. Use that life getting your shit together, getting your house together, worrying about where you're going when this is all to the job. Jesus, help me to find you. But instead, you jumping into the confusion when you know that the flesh is weak. Instead, you're jumping into chaos. Instead, you're jumping into the line of fire to get fucked up. But yeah, I'm here to save other people. No, save yourself. See, you're trying to save other people because you're in fear of what's going to happen to you, and that takes off your attention. Because just like anybody else that are thinkers, when you start getting concerned about your whereabouts, oh, come on in here. When you start being concerned about your whereabouts, when you start being concerned about your future, girl, that's all you think about. You're not thinking about, whoa, is my mama gonna be here too? Let me make sure my mama also get here. Is my sister gonna be here? Let me make sure my sister be here. Is my son and my daughter? You gotta, girl, the fuck out of here. You're not concerned about if they also want that future. You're like, what can I do to get to this? I need to spend every second, every minute on the minute and on the hour to get there. If you're truly a piece of God, if you're truly working with Spirit of God, worry about yourself. How the hell your house is not prepared and together, but you're trying to help other people prepare their shit? How the hell you trying to help other people get money and you file bankruptcy? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. But those are the ones. Those are the ones that have trouble, that need help themselves. And so it's like, let me come out and offer help because I can help others. Why they shit falling apart. That's not how that works, baby. That's mental illness. And even going into that situation, how, like, I was having a conversation with somebody about that. These people are so they're confused. They're not secured in where they're going. They're not secured in God or the universe accepting them. They're not secured in that. And so this is why, to take themselves off of, their mind off of that, well, I'm going to do God's work by telling other people about it. No, but that doesn't apply to you, because you told a million people about God. I mean, God is going to say, well, I know that you touched on this kid. Oh, well, I know that you stole the Snickers. Oh, well, I know you also committed this crime in 1989. Oh, it's okay. I forgive you. As long as you go out and spew my word and share my knowledge, I'm going to forgive you. That's not what it says, girl. That's not what it says. But like I said, somehow, maybe it's the mental illness in them, the spiritual psychosis, where they think that's going to save them. And I feel like that even with the spiritual people. One minute coming out saying they feel like they curse. One minute coming out saying they need help. One minute saying, I don't know, it's hard for me to get out this hole that I'm in. But yeah, Miss 50, they got all the answers for you. Oh, well, you're going to light this candle. And it's just like, but why couldn't you do that for yourself then? You have to file bankruptcy, girl. You had no money. You have to file bankruptcy. You have to go bankrupt. How are you here to offer money rich for other people to get people out to get money when you couldn't get money yourself? And y'all hear the landscapers in the back? Girl, the energy is moving to that. The energy say, bitch, I'm going to make sure we distract her. Well, I'm done any motherfucking way. I'm done any motherfucking way, honey. Come on, Melly. Long time no see, Melly. How you doing? They said, have you ever witnessed any spiritual paranormal encounters? Of course. Of course, honey. Oh, yes, honey. Let me tell you something crazy. And I'm really going to be gone. A lot of my in-person work, I go out and I see people at their homes. I go, I travel and I see them. And a lot of these people be like in the middle of nowhere. Okay. And that used to be my fear too, y'all. Like, girl, like going out in the middle of nowhere, driving by myself, my car gets stuck somewhere, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck out here, no GPS working. Oh my God, how's the tow truck gonna come and get me? Like, girl, then the people, oh girl, like I had experiences. I had one experience too, in the mountains of like between Bakersfield, California and Las Vegas, y'all. And these people were like giving weird ass vibes, girl, conservative. And I've been nothing to y'all. Something in my energy, something in my spirit. And that's like I said, I don't compare myself with anybody else, because when I say that I'm a goddess, I believe that to be true. And it's not me being cocky, it's not me being narcissistic, it's me being damped down, being humbled, and I'm still getting it. There's people that have to like have tattoos on them, let people know that they're gangsters, or let them know that they're psychic to get the attention. And I'm not that person. People are like, ooh, you're psychic, huh? Bam. And that's just an example, y'all. This can apply for many things. And so going into that situation, it was a conservative part of town, y'all. They even had a cross on a mountain. And I'm there with my dog, and the tow truck's like, oh, we may not be there for another 4 or 5 hours, John. It was getting late. And this family, the lady looked like she was like Chinese but Spanish. And she's like, you could you could stay at our house until the tow truck. And I was like, ooh, I'm getting weird vibes about this. And then the husband come down this mountain, y'all drunker than a motherfucker, girl. When I say he was like masculine, like redneck, motherfucker, like, all right, what's going on out here? I was like, oh shit. And Nubis girl, he wasn't having a new girl. He was barking. I was like, I got my mace and shit. I'm out to fuck these people up today, y'all. But either way, the guy was just talking, and I could tell like he's reading me down, y'all. He's looking at me, and he's all like, "Yeah, we have an extra spare room. We have a big dog, but don't worry, he doesn't bite or anything. And him and your dog, they can play and stuff." I'm like, "Fuck no." But he's like, "Yeah, I hope you don't judge or whatever." And I was like, "Oh no, why would I judge?" And y'all, I kid y'all not, y'all. I swear to God, the way this happened. He's telling me that he's a cross-dresser, which, by the way, cross-dressers are straight men. They just like somehow, some way to feel like a woman, right? That's what a cross-dresser is. It's not a man that's trying to be a woman. They just like feeling like a woman, right? And I feel like that's what anyway, I won't get into that. So he's telling me this, y'all, and I'm trying to look at him like, bitch, you're like 6'5", strong as fuck. You look like a timberman. And you talking like, girl, what? So, girl, I thought of it as, girl, this is a money-making opportunity, bro. Like, girl, hell yeah, I'm about to charge this motherfucker. They got money, too. They up in these mountain shit. They got money. Baby, I'm like, no, I don't judge. And he's like, oh, my God, yeah, because, y'all, this was my first day there. And I was only there at this point for 2 hours. But I'm like, oh, my God. And right when they were like, well, you could come up when you need to come up, girl, that tow truck started hauling ass up that mountain, y'all. I was like, oh, right, yeah. And then the guy was trying to tell the tow truck how to get the car and shit. And the guy was like, okay, if he keeps talking, I'm about to leave. And I said, no, look at me, no. And he was like, I'm about to go because and then girl, sure enough, I went around the back and he's like, I'm not gonna leave with these people. These people are weird as fuck. He's like, I said, I'm telling you, y'all, when I tell you I had chills, even all the way going from there to my destination, I had chills. So I was like, oh my God, girl, that was a weird situation. And even this tow truck, man, knew that shit. And girl, he wasn't even there that long. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna leave these people. These people are weird as fuck. Yeah, baby, the motherfuckers talking about cross-dressing and shit. And I was like, maybe he was spooking the tea and he was trying to get me to open about my tea. I don't know, but girl, that was weird as fuck. But anyway, going back into the original conversation. So we sit in here, hold on, because this is gonna fuck me up. Like, I be feeling like these landscapers be charging by the hour. Girl, y'all been here since 7 o'clock this fucking morning. It is 10:10, girl. It does not take y'all 3 hours to do what the fuck y'all doing, girl. Y'all came through here at 7:07, girl. 3 hours. I'm gonna end up calling down to my property manager and say, what's really going on? Girl, 3 hours? 7 a.m. to fucking 11, girl. Like, the fuck? This is a business day, girl. Y'all need to start coming at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening, girl. The fuck? And just, what are y'all doing, girl? The grass ain't that high. The bushes ain't that high. The trees ain't that high. Like, girl, what y'all out there doing? Collect the money? Anywho, something about my aura, and I do feel like it's years and years of the work, and I also feel like it's just who I am, a embodiment of goddess energy, goddess frequency. But something about my energy pulls out like people, like fetishes, people that have fetishes, people, and girl, like that, I could look just basic Mary Jane, like, girl, maybe there's a mysterious energy to me, and they're like, ooh, I want to tap into that energy, because y'all, I'm telling you, I be meeting the weirdest people that be having the weirdest stories. I'm like, girl, the fuck? How the fuck you know I'm into that? How you know I'm not gonna judge you for that? How you know I'm not gonna say, bitch, ooh, I'm calling the police? Girl, what? But anyway, the scary encounter. I had lots of experiences, Coco Curry, where I'm going out to these customers' houses, and the map is telling me 10 minutes, and I swear it felt like I'm driving this 10-minute route for like 30 minutes. That's how long it felt like. And even I'm looking down at the map as I'm going, it's like 9 minutes. And it's like, damn, I don't know a minute took this fucking long. Or I feel like the GPS keep recycling the time or something. And in that moment, something crazy happened. Like, let's talk about it 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I'm going into like this real country park. It was like vineyards and shit. And the sun goes down around like 7:01, 7:05, 7:10, the latest. But it was like 6:30, y'all, and it felt like it was already starting to get pitch black. And so I was like, oh, I'm going into some weird ass shit. So I'm already ready. I'm already ready for this bitch to tell me some weird energy and weird stories. And this happened. I'm already ready for y'all. Because as I'm on my way there, y'all, I'm looking down at the phone and I'm seeing this gray car race me. And I'm like, while I'm looking at the phone, I'm like, why the fuck does this car want to race me? And oh, girl, we're in the country because, I have the AC on. I have my music kind of on blast. So I don't hear the motor, but I'm seeing the car. And I look over, y'all, there was no car there. So I'm looking ahead of me like, oh, well, maybe the car sped past. There's no car in front of me, y'all. Look on the back, there's no car behind me neither. And I'm like, okay, I'm tripping. Maybe it's the ground because the pavement be looking like grayish or white. So I'm like, maybe it's the ground and I'm tripping. So y'all, I get around the corner because it's like a bend, right? And anybody who knows California, a lot of the roads like turns and shit, especially in the middle of nowhere. They like turns or go up and down a hill or levee, embankments and shit. And so as I'm approaching the street, because she was like, girl, like way out off the highway, y'all, the main highway. Like I said, this was like maybe like a 25-minute drive off the main street. Okay, hello. And so I'm going and I'm looking ahead, y'all, and I swear it looked like this car came out of one. This is the best way I could describe it. A car came out of one parking spot, looped around to get into another parking spot. So as I'm approaching, I'm like, oh, there's been some type of gathering or something over here. As I get up there, y'all, it's, and they had headlights on too, by the way. And like I said, it was getting dark. When I get up there, y'all, and this is less than 2 minutes, this was 2 minutes ahead of me, less than 2 minutes, I get up there, look, it's the levee, y'all, with like trees and shit there. There was no cars or anything over there. There was nothing over there, y'all. I was like, what the? So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely about to have some tea. When I got to this person's house, and y'all, I had this real urge to like pee, like really bad too. As close as I got to them, I was like, oh, that's kind of whatever. Like I drank a lot of water, but girl, I already released all my fluid shit. But I felt like I had to pee really, really strongly. But when I actually got to her house, I did not have to use that restroom. And I even saw like weird shit in their little vineyards and almond trees or whatever the fuck she said those trees were. And so the first thing I asked was like, what do you know about the history about this area? Because, honey, I had 2 experiences before I came over here. And also, we could say 3 because I had to pee and now I don't have to pee. And she's like, maybe you were nervous. Oh, honey, I don't get afraid of or nervous off shit like that. This is spiritual stuff, honey. I don't get afraid of ghosts and shit. Girl, ghosts don't scare me, honey. Okay, hello? So I'm just like, no. Like, what you were? And then she was like, well, I know this has always been a farmer area and blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, because, and I told her 2 situations I have. And she said, yeah, that highway, a lot of people have always said that they've seen weird shit on the highway. And I said, yeah, I had 2 experiences on the highway. And she's like, yeah, normally it brings you the other way. I said, no, it brought me this way. GPS told me to go this way, baby. She's like, yeah, normally it brings them around the other way. No, it didn't bring me around that way. And of course I took that way up out of there. And I was like, yeah, GPS should have brought me this way because this is a shorter, more direct way to her. The way that I went, it felt a little longer. But getting about her, it was quicker. Getting to her was 30 minutes. Getting out there was maybe like 19, maybe even 20. And I was like, damn, so why didn't the GPS take me that way? But of course, it's a way for me to encounter those spiritual experiences. So I've definitely had a lot of paranormal experiences, honey. A lot of one of my biggest fears used to be that I would see something that other people will not see. And that is a mental psychosis. Because typically when something spiritual happens, although you're the only one that sees it, people will still, if you're with people, they will still hear something, feel something, or see something as well. You're not the only one seeing it. So it's not like you have the eyes, you have clairvoyant ability and you're seeing something that's not there. No. If something is really there, people will still be able to see it, like your dogs, your cats, whatever. They can still sense it. Also, not to mention as well, the other day around the same time, it was a different day though, but around the same time period, we're driving. I bring Anubis with me, which I don't really like bringing him because he liked to like walk around the car and shit. And your girl, he bark at everybody who walk by and shit. And so I'm like, ugh. So I take him, and y'all, as we're approaching this entry or exit point, he just started barking. And I'm looking out and I don't see nobody. And I'm looking like, what is he barking at? And he's looking up, right? He's looking up. And I'm like, what the fuck is he barking at? And for a very quick second, y'all, and I was like, well, maybe because I'm tired. I like to blame it on maybe I'm tired, maybe I had a long day, I don't know. But for a very split second, I saw a woman like looking through my fucking window, and I looked and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm tired. And that's how I just equated. I was like, yeah, I'm tired, honey, because like I said, right when he was looking at you, he was looking out my driver window and he was looking up as somebody was looking into my car. And I was like, what the fuck is he barking at? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? And there we go. I look away, look in. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Bam. It was a woman looking in as if like, what this bitch got going on in this car? So like, I've had a lot of paranormal activity or experiences, especially driving in California, honey. A lot of paranormal, outdoors, indoors. I did go to a place they claim is haunted. The only thing I felt is that it was cold. I did not see any spirits, any entities. They did say do it at night. Maybe I will before the weather gets too cold and rainy. I'll go up there. I'll stay at this place and we'll kind of talk about it. Like I'll do some type of video recording or footage and you guys can see what it's given. But I'm like, honey, yes, honey, it'd be some very creepy shit, Coco. Yes, honey. But yes, honey, y'all, I'm gonna go. I gotta go. My nail appointment is actually in 2 hours, and I'm gonna try to do a little something with a hump. You know what I mean? I gotta, that type of shit like that. Got a little home, Anyway, war. Thank y'all for allowing me to just talk, rant, give y'all some tea, and also have some personal dialogue. We'll be back, y'all. What did y'all think about me? I mentioned all the other night. Yeah, what did y'all think about that? Okay. And we're going to do some more tea. And yeah, I got something special for y'all. I told y'all I will talk about it in advance. And this is also going to be the tester too, baby. I got to do a little experiment. I got to see what it is and what it ain't. Ain't that what they be saying? What it is and what it ain't. I got to see what it is and what it ain't. So if it ain't that, then I won't do it. If it is that, then I'll do it. Can we talk about it? Hello? So anyway, y'all, love and light. Okay. twospiritmysteries.blogspot.com. You can email me to spiritmysteries@gmail.com about anything about products and services, y'all. There's a lot of things that I offer and I do, y'all, that we do not have posted on the blog spot and we don't talk about it here. You hit me up, you asked about it, I'll say yes or no, whatever, however, whatever. I'm also going into it. Someone placed an order for the Shea Butter Magical Balm. So I will be sending that out with another person's, the ones that we charged up the other day. Y'all, what was that, Monday, Tuesday? I'll be sending that off Monday, honey. I know they're going to be like, damn, that's a week. I know. I did not get the address literally until this morning. I look and I'm like, wait a minute. When did they send this address? I think it said they sent it 3 days ago. So I will be sending that out. And yeah. Okay, y'all. So, yes, honey. Love. Okay, come on in here. Love it. We need more midnight. So come on in. Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much for that. Yes, Tamala. Yes, honey. Thank you so much for that. Ow. Yes, honey. Ow. Oh, there's a lot of tea up here. Okay. Yes, honey. Yes, blessings. Hey, Melly. Yes, honey. I'm a Melly. When it's time to be alive, just be crazy. I know that's right, honey. And it's going to get crazier. The Rainbow Coalition. Right. The Rainbow Coalition. Right. Come on in here. The Rainbow Coalition. Right. Let's see. Tell me why I just saw a video where the lady said Atlanta is a city mostly for gay men, not necessarily lesbian women. And it's weird how it hit me with worship of masculinity and patriarchal. Right. You said it. What a lot of people got to understand anyway, like there's more women out here than there is man. And I do feel like certain places of power, and not just Atlanta, we have Philly as well. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is also another Atlanta. Of course, in Philly, these people are a little more, what they say, passive. They're passive with their gayness. Atlanta's definitely, because of course, high vibrational energy is definitely a place for men, because of course, that is a businessman city. So, of course, men used to use Atlanta as a hideout place to have their homosexual activities. Just so happened everybody started hearing about it, so people started going. You're right. It is for it's a gay man thing, not a lesbian thing. I mean, let's talk about how many lesbians y'all know that stay there in Atlanta. Hello, and there's more women than there's men. You're right, you said it. And I mean, would you want it to be a lesbian capital? I mean, Atlanta seems a little dry and boring. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, babe. Do you want it to be for? I mean, we're just talking. And they have no shame to say what they used to be, and now they're saying, right. They have no shame in saying, right. You said it. And like I was saying, Melly, like in my mind, of course, this came up, y'all, because I watched things from a spiritual perspective. What would be your point in telling the world that you've won your battle with homosexuality, as if we saw these gay acts? And what also led me to believe that this person, and like I said, we're going to tackle that maybe even tonight, if not tonight, tomorrow, or even let this person have that dialogue, because I'm like, they were talking about being on apps and giving people, and that's how I knew it was the spirit of confusion, because I'm like, homosexuality don't mean promiscuity. Gay does not mean being promiscuous. I don't know where people, and maybe that's the fantasizing about gay lifestyle that people do, where they're like, being gay means you're a hoe. No, that's confusion to me. I think people who are spiritually confused, people who don't really know who they are, I think they become sexual gay hoes. And we're not talking about ones that are paid. We're talking about ones that's doing it for free. Because a lot of people say a lot of men ain't got the money. They be homeless and shit. Including one I was telling about, girl. Hooked up with like 7 people this whole 6 months, and he still ain't got no pot to piss in and want to throw it out of. Anyway, he was talking about giving away his body on these apps to men who don't know him. And I'm just like, but that doesn't mean you're gay, though. Straight men do that all the time. Like, so that kind of threw me for a loop. I'm like, straight men give their body up to people they don't know neither. There are straight men that meet a woman at a grocery store, go home that night and fuck her. The fuck? That's the part of human nature, babe. What do you mean? Like, unless you're trying to court them and marry them, I could see it. But you don't meet everybody to marry people. You're not meeting everybody to marry them. Sometimes you're meeting people to test their compatibility with you. And unfortunately, but fortunately, some way of testing it is how direct they're about how they want it. So I was like, oh, this man is confused about what he's into. Because he was even inquiring, he was breaking down. I was getting on these apps, I was giving my body to people who don't know me. And I'm just like, but what does that mean, gayness, though? Like, that doesn't make sense to me, because I'm of a particular experience, and I'll just give my body to just anybody. I'm not wrestling with that. I'm like, girl, be yourself, girl. And that'd be another thing, too. People be having the ideas about what they should be because they're that way, and that'd be the real problem. People be looking up gay, straight, bi, whatever, and they be feeling like, in order for me to be a bi man, I have to do this. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, now everything is starting to open up, honey. Praise God. Oh, come on in here. But people be like, this is what I have to do to be bi. This is what I have to do to be gay. This is what I got to do to be trans. This is what I got to be. And that be the problem. Oh, y'all, honey. Yes, honey. That'd be the problem. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, this man is confused. And like I said, we don't see your gay activity. So what's funny, you coming out and telling us that you wrestle with this shit? Now, I do feel like some people get picked on and bullied because we were talking about a woman that became a trans man at 44 years old, and she was she was a lesbian. Which, by the way, a lot of trans men be lesbians for a good part of their life, and then they become that. But not every tranny was gay. Not every trans woman were gay before they became a trans woman. By the way, but she became a trans man at like 44 years old, and she said she's more comfortable with being called he versus she. Now, that's not the response I would have gave. But I'm like, well, that tells me right there that this person, somebody must have bullied this person into becoming a trans man. Because they must have like said, and they would have interpreted was, if you were a man, I could see it, but it's not made for a woman to like a woman. And because they were preaching that to them in their mind somewhere, they said, well, maybe I'm not a woman. Maybe I'm actually a man trapped in a woman's body. And so that's where the mental illness part coming at. And then that's where you go, now I'm a trans man. And it's like, girl, but you don't plan on getting your breast removed. You don't plan on getting your name legally changed to a male's name. So, and that's a stud, girl. Studs, they like to be looked at as a man. Stud like to have the male persona. They want to still be seen as a woman, but they want to have the respect of a man. So I'm like, yeah, this is giving stud mentality, honey. And I would say that respectfully, honey. This is not giving trans man, girl. Ain't nobody said, well, I was comfortable being called she, so this is why I wanted to transition. The fuck? That's not about what I'm comfortable with, girl. This is what it is, honey. Okay? So, yeah, honey, let's stay with that, honey. Let's see. Have you ever, okay, yep, looked at that already. Ow. Yes, honey. Oh, time is crazy. You said Philly. Right. Knockers get silly. Right. Niggas get silly in Philly. Yeah, what kind of silly you get? Yes. San Francisco, lesbian capital. There are a lot of places with a lot of lesbians. New York is a lesbian capital. You're a lesbian, you trying to get some coon, coon, toon, toon, toon. New York is it. You said it. San Francisco, LA, New York. Yeah. Chicago, I can see that being a half and half place. Atlanta, no. I also feel like too in Texas, like I feel like Austin, Texas, or something over there. I feel like San Antonio or Austin is also like a lesbian haven. So yeah, there's a lot of places where lesbians, but it's like let's just mind this opinion. Let's just mind this opinion. If I was a gay man, I wouldn't want to go to a place where there's a lot of gay men at. If I was a lesbian woman, I wouldn't want to go to a place where there's a lot of lesbians at. Like. The chances of these men all having each other is very high. The chance of these men knowing everybody's business is very high. The chance of these lesbians being with, like, girl, like, no, ma'am. Like, I know somebody who joined a group to try to find their lesbian partner, and like, it was just a messy ass group, y'all. And I'm like, I would never do that. I would never join a group or join like whatever to try to date a partner, because everybody in that group done either had it, shot they shot, or they want it. And so now you're the most hated one because you actually end up dating this person. And girl, that's the problem. Because very likely, you know, and we just gonna have it. I'm really gonna be done. There is a platform that I go on for entertainment purposes. And of course, we don't need to say the name of the app, but I've been on there for entertainment purposes. And I will see somebody, I'm like, oh, they're cute. And either they feel the same way about it, and, you know, they'll be flirtatious with me, whatever. Or they'll just call on and be like, oh, and just so you know, I'm not into whatever. And it's like, okay, well, I didn't tell you how I felt anyway. I'm not even flirting with you, so it doesn't matter if you don't want me or whatever. But you know, other people try to instigate it, or other people maybe try to go after the person to kind of interfere. And then the person will hit you up and say, hey, I told you I wasn't into this. Did you send this person to talk to me? No, I didn't. Or however that may fall. And so that's what people do. And so long story short, I was in this group, and I guess in this group, every gay man and every trans person they shot at this person. I'm like, well, I don't really care for their attitude, because I feel like they have child issues, and I've worked through my child issues. So, you know, my inner child is healed or healing. So I'm not dealing with a man that got to work through that. So I'll pass. So I let it be known initially, like, baby, I'm not on here to date nobody or talk to anybody, honey. I think some people are cool, but I don't want it. And then they kept like back, and not this person in particular, but they kept bringing up another person, like the owner of that whole area, that whole situation, that I wanted that person. I was like, I don't want that person. If I wanted that person would be in California. If I want the person, that person would be living with me. That person would not be over there. Like, no, they would be in my home, baby. I would have to see them every day, all day. Girl, that's how I am. And so either way, I kind of said that this other person who identifies as a straight man was being flirtatious with me. And of course, two people witnessed it, but they didn't want to say it out loud in front of everybody because they didn't want people to say, oh, this big fool, and then, serve drama. But I think someone came in and they had to witness for themselves, because just so happened, I said that day they came in, they were showing up and showing out. So I was like, oh, they had to see for sure if I was saying what I was saying, it was true. And so, of course, in that moment, this person and we had a falling out. So of course they probably was like, yep, see, no, yeah, they're not flirting. So I'm like, oh, it's looking like I'm crazy, guys, given that I want these people, but they don't want me. And I keep saying, like, girl, I don't want a man who's comfortable being around other men and show their ass. Like, I think there's a certain way that straight men or secure men move around other men, especially they see this man as being weaker than them. Ain't gonna be no confident, secured man walking into a room full of weak men and them showing their ass like those weak men. And so I'm not interested in any men that do that. And a lot of men do that on this platform. So I'm like, no, I'm not into that. I don't want that. And then sure enough, this person even staged a fight between this other guy. We're gonna say this bisexual guy staged like a stunt between this straight guy and I don't know if it was to make me know that this guy don't want me, or was to let the guy know that I don't want him, because he was like, oh, I see this linking up, I see this going on, because they're both intelligent. Even the guy kept saying, I really like her because we have a lot in common. Now, he not saying I like her in a way of I want to fuck her, but he was like, I like her, like, we have a lot of similarity. We both are, like, strong people. We're intelligent. She's about her shit. I'm about my shit. And so the guy was like, oh, really? And so I just felt like he was feeling some type of way about this, y'all. And long story short, for the past, like, 2 weeks, this person has been like, I've been, like, saying, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm going to ignore him. And the guy will go out his way and be like, then I keep my mind, all this other shit, and like talking to me and shit, like hitting on my box and shit. And I'm just like, well, like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then the host is seeing this. So the host, he been feeling some type of way, y'all, and I've been seeing it. He been feeling a little down or whatever. But long story short, 2 days ago, the guy was really like, girl, like trying to cam up, was trying to like not show his face, because people like to screenshot and shit, but he's showing his house, he's showing his feet, he's showing his body, like, baby, look at me, you want this. And girl, I'm not making no comments, I'm not saying shit. And then he just started calling out my name and was like, so what are you up to? What have you been up to? And I was like, nothing. Like, keep my conversation very, very short. And so I'm doing that intentionally, because I'm like, if he's really trying to link up and connect, he needs to DM me or he needs to hit me up and have that conversation. Publicly, we're not doing that, because I noticed that when people know that you like somebody or somebody like you and they want that person, they're going to do everything they can in their power to break that up. Because that also happened last year. There was another straight identifying man who is from, whatever, on this platform, in this room, being comfortable. People are like, this is so strange, because he don't be around the girls like that. He normally fight the girls, but he's not fighting. He's used to what's really going on. First, they were alluding that I was paying this man. Then they were alluding that I was giving this man something. And then when they found out that it wasn't that, they started having private conversations to try to make this man think, well, she wants you. She thinks that you're her man. And of course, this is like a private situation. So he's like, wait, what? So he had to come out and kind of like embarrass me, but not embarrass me, to let the bitch know, like, I'm not into this bitch. This bitch look ugly as fuck, and it's a black bitch. Like, basically, that's what he was doing. And so that pissed me the fuck off. Well, I'm like, oh. So yeah, we wouldn't be compatible as a friend either, because baby, you can't own up and set up on what you see. If you see it for what it is, and you don't see it for what it is, girl. Like, other people shouldn't move your opinion. So I was like, girl, it made it seem like I was the ugly bitch, or like I'm the most ugliest, whatever bitch. And I was like, oh bitch, we're not playing this game. I'm not stooping down to these insecure ass homosexual, these insecure ass transvestites, these insecure ass trannies that don't really feel like they're the prettiest and they need some sort of validation. So they need the people to say, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, whatever. And then while they're calling the next bitch ugly, like that man could be like, yeah, well, I'm the baddest one. And it's like, no, not really. They're telling you that because they sense that you're the weakest. They sense that you're the one that needs that type of validation. When this bitch right here don't need that, so they want to try to tear this bitch down. And I'm that example. They want to try to tear me down because I come off as a very strong, confident, secured woman. And bitch, they don't like that. They're like, oh, this is another tranny, and this bitch thinks you that. So no, let's whip her down. Oh, bitch, you ugly, you just do that. And then they start making up shit. Oh, well, girl, yeah, you want to be like everybody else, and everything you do is a flop. And girl, we done had all these procedures, and you haven't had all these. And it's like, girl, that doesn't make or break me, though, girl. The niggas still want me, and the only difference between you and I is that I don't have to come up and get it. The only difference between you and I don't have to be in the DM. The only difference between you and I don't have to be like, yo, hit me up here, bitch. They're in my DM sending shit. They're in my shit trying to get me to send. Like they blowing me up. They video calling me all day, every day. No shade, and that's how I end up going on those platforms. So it's like, girl, we're not the same. And even when I was kind of watching something with Kiz Madison the other day, where she was saying like she kind of got out of the field of work because people start feeling like they were sad. And that's how I feel too. I'm different from other people. I don't think I'm better than people, but I'm like, ain't no bitch like me. We don't have the same thought process. There's no way that I would be in your situation and work the way you're working. And that goes for any and everybody. Like, girl, there's no way. Like, I know girls that were sleeping in cars and shit and going to Florida to get a $6,000 car just so they had a car. And I'm like, I wouldn't have been moving like that, though, girl, because you need like renter history and shit, or they're going to ask for a lot of money. Like, I don't know. Like, I would be moving differently. So it's like, we're not the same, babe. So I will never be looking at the next man or trans woman or woman and be like, I want to be like them, or I'm at God, because I'm not. Girl, I know what I'm going to do when I'm at a certain age. I said this. Eventually, there's going to be a point where I go out and, girl, I'm going to be done with public or any of that. Like, eventually, I will get to that point. I will be enjoying my life being the millionaire that I'm going to be. Period. And there's no shade with that. So we don't move the same. Even going into how I dealt with men and how I dealt with men in the past and I'm dealing with the future. Just because you got the money doesn't mean you're getting a piece of this. Just because you got the money doesn't mean that, girl, bye. And like I said, respectfully, men that I've sucked on and they touch and suck to me, girl, I can count on both of my hands and under. So it's like, girl, we're not the same. And so even on these platforms, these people be trying to move like we're the same. Like, we're not the same, baby. I don't have to like get a man to say that I'm pretty to feel good about myself. I don't have to, oh, I know he likes me because he's flirting with me. No, a lot of people do that to try to use you. Like, I need an ally, so let me pump this bitch up. Let me make this bitch think that she's the one because I need her to gravitate towards me. Versus a bitch like me, girl, I'm not gravitating towards you because you stand pretty. I'm not gravitating towards you because you like me. I'm going to stand on my own. And like I said, there's a lot of more people that like me for that versus being a submissive ass kissing bitch. Like I said, we don't move the same. And like I said, on that platform, that's what they wanted. They wanted me to do the exact same things they do. Like, I'm going to cam up with makeup and my hair are done and I'm going to show off my titties and my ass. And it's just like, I'm not going to do all that, girl. Especially if I want genuine longevity. Like, we all know that the man who is saying you beautiful is going to fuck you, but he'll also fuck the boy who looks like a sewer trap. And there's no shade with that. That's what I said. I never understood how girls, like even going into Cardi B, how she went from looking like that to look like this, and mom still feel like she's a hot commodity. Girl, I would hope you got that surgery for you, because the same niggas that will fuck you like you're looking like that, they would have fucked you when you were looking like the first you too. Like, girl, they don't give a fuck about none of that, girl. They be looking for, like, girl, no shade. They be looking for shit just to do shit with. So, girl, I will never, ever be like, I need to cam up. I need to show that I'm that girl. No, girl, it moves in me. You can step in a room and you can command the attention of a judge, of a police officer. And we're not talking about command the attention where they're looking at you and they're like, uh-oh, whatever. We're talking about they go out the way to say, hi, how you doing today, ma'am? And you thought you were doing something wrong. Well, you could command and go into a place of business where there's power and they respect you and, hey, who can I help you? And girl, they ready. Like, that's the energy I move by. I'm not moved by, baby, you got a big ass, you got big titties, can you suck me, can I fuck? That's not the energy I move by. Because we all know that everybody, when it comes to men are basically into anything. And there's no shit with that, girl. They'll be married to the hottest bitch on the planet and be fucking the baddest, the worst looking bitch in the whole damn city. So it's like, oh no, that doesn't excite me, girl. And of course it goes into money too, girl. And I always tell them, because the girls be trying to, well, I'm the baddest. I'm like, okay, well, if you're that girl, get these clients to pay for you a house then and get you a car. Why are you out here scamming and cheating clients to get your shit? If you so bad, you should be waking up to money. If you so bad. You should have stepped out of a business and still have people in that business still sending you money. You don't got, and you haven't sent out any videos or anything in 5 years. That's how you know you're that one. Bitch, when you're retired or you're like, hey, I'm giving it a break and they still like, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? If you get back on, I got 2,000 for you right now. Can we talk about it? Because we get into how I moved. We get into how I relocated. We get into all that. Baby, I always, girl, it's about men. It's about me being spoiled, me thinking that I'm that girl. Baby, why spend mine when I can spend yours? And that's my motive. That's my slogan. And so, bingo, bitch. I don't want any man on a motherfucking app. And on top of it, like I said, girl, a man that's subjecting himself to this type of frequency, think about, I'm about to fight these people for you. Girl, but I'm about to play this strong like I'm not into you and I don't want you. And behind the scenes, you got to hit me up because I'm not hitting you up and you try to be funny and be like, yeah, the bitch came up in the DM. No, no. You going to hit me up and that's how we going to connect. But outside of that, girl, I'm not flirting with you in front of these people. As soon as they see that, now they want to fight you. And that's what they be waiting for too. They don't be hating you because you pretty, or they'll be hating you because you the baddest. Or they'll be hating you because they're jealous. No, bitch, they want this man and they think you want the man, so they're coming for you. So now we got to do everything we can to fuck this bitch up, girl. But anybody want him, girl, you can have him. Because like I said, the man I want, girl, he don't want to be seen. The man I want don't want to be seen, especially by peasants. He don't want to sit around bums and slums and codependent. Okay, he like independent. He like bosses. He like people that he could invite to his house. Girl, she not gonna go back and tell people, "Oh, I was just at his house." That's what they like, and men can point that out too by looking. Men are very smart. They can look at us and say, "Yeah, this bitch look like she would keep a secret." Oh, this bitch look like she'll tell everybody about. Yeah, honey. They know what they're doing. So you're gonna have to pay for that. You're gonna have to hound for that. When you're a boss and they know that you're about that shit and you're about your business, bitch, they're going to be like, I want to experience it and this is the right one to experience it. Let me hit this bitch up and say, hey, just so you know, you are the baddest. Just so you know, you are. Just so you, and like I said, that's not my goal. Because I don't give a fuck about that, honey. I don't give a fuck about that, girl. I'm me. Okay, the bad girl, unless you talk about being the baddest, they're going to give me $1 million a year for the rest of my life. Girl, listen, I don't give a fuck about that, honey. Okay, show me you love me. Good. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Jay. Mister, what would you say to someone wanting to transition but has a unisex name? Transition. Transition, honey. Yeah, you can transition with any name, honey. If you want to change it too, you can change it. Ow! Transition, honey. Don't let that stop you. Oh, and tell me why I read Instagram that Nukhouse of the Mesoamericans came from the Capella star in the Auriga constellation. Who? Let me ask you this. Who be putting? You know what I was thinking about? I saw something where people were talk about like the Akashic records or the Kashira records or the Akash records and all that. But I'm like, what phonetics is that? Everybody did not call that record because nobody owns spirituality. Everybody did not call the Akashic records the Akashic records. Everybody did not call it that. What did other cultures call it that? So I be thinking to myself like, there's societies and groups out there that are meant to, whether they're known or known, to keep certain information going around. Why couldn't people just be here? Why do people have to be magical? And why do people have to like why does everything has to be like extraterrestrial? And of course that's just a question I have. Like, why just can't be that these people are from this planet? And just so happen they have certain abilities. Like I'd be curious of that. Like who be saying this? Because of course some stuff is, and of course there is some stuff out there, but there's a lineage of these people. There's proof how these people had certain magical abilities. It's proof. It's not just hearsay. Like this whole group of people vanished or whatever. People couldn't enter. People couldn't find the location again. Whatever. Because something was revealed to me, and we're going to talk about it probably on the Beyond the 11th Gate. And this was a couple of months ago. And I said, oh my God. So I'm like, if these people were from these constellations, they were so spiritually inclined, how did the white man take over? How are they so dumb and so naive to let the white man come over and trick them to take over their land? And of course, these are just questions. We're just having conversations. Because we can even go back into, and I said this and we continue to say this, where the Native American people, because this is the side of story that this is the side of history nobody want to talk about, but we're gonna talk about it. And I'm really gonna be done, y'all. Like I've been saying that I got Like I know y'all, it'd be so cute. That's like maybe I need to start like just on my videos in like video format versus live and shit. Because I'm like, girl, it'd be cute. I love having a conversation with y'all, but I'm like, damn, girl, I don't want to be like 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 hours on here. And back then we used to load in there, but I'm like, because girl, I be having things I have to do. But anyway, this and I'll be done. So these white men, as they did with the Filipinos, as they did with the indigenous people, these people looked like these black people who are also indigenous people, right? Some of them were separated because they did bring some of them here at a certain period of time from Africa for real, but it wasn't a large percentage of them. Just like they were taking Americans over to Africa. Hello? So that don't mean shit. Okay? But they were hiring these indigenous people to hunt African or black people. They were hiring these people for immunity to hunt the African or black people. And you're going to tell me that these people came from a certain constellation? Unless you're going to tell me that that constellation is rooted in deception, insecurity, weakness, and cowardice, because there is no way, y'all, and I'm just being honest here. If I was about my ancestry, and I'm telling you, y'all just gonna have to take me out. If I was about my ancestry, and I'm here to protect my lineage and protect what my ancestors worked hard for, and you came in as a colonizer to fuck it up, and I know you're fucking it up because you're killing off my people. We have millions of people, now we're down to fucking 12,000, 11,000 people. I'm not about to sit here and let you hire me as immunity if I'm so spiritually inclined, if I come from another star system, and let you fuck up my lineage and put blood on my lineage. Because, bitch, now they got blood on their hands. These Native Americans in America, Mesoamerica, they got blood on their motherfucking hands, baby. Not all of them. They got blood on their fucking hands. Bitch, whatever is to come, they gonna get got too. Whatever's to come, they're gonna be one of the first ones to motherfucking get got. Because they got a lot of answer. And some of them look, and the crazy thing about it, some of them look like you and I. Some of them were copper tone. We can get into the Jesse Jacksons and Al Sharpton stories if we need to. Hello? We can get into it if we need to. They hire black folks to take out black folk. They don't have white men lurking around the ghetto. Oh, there's a nigga. Boop. Oh, there's a wetback. Boop. Oh, there's a gook. Boop. Girl, they hire Asians to take out Asians. They hire blacks to take out blacks. They hire Hispanics to take out Hispanics. They hire whites to take out whites. Hello? People say that white people are more likely to commit crimes over here in this country. Yeah, a lot of white people are in this country. So they're going to hire white folks, or white people are going to get hired by organizations to take out other white folks. And that's just how it is. And yes, there are some white folks that went into the ghettos or went into black places to take out black people. Because we're not saying anything, because we're not speaking for everybody. Because people get up in that too. Well, you can't speak for. I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm telling you from a spiritual perception of what I'm saying. It'll be far more easier for me to come into your city to act like I'm here for you, looking like you, than for me to come in as a whole nother person. Could you imagine? Could you imagine a bearded woman coming into a daycare center talking about she here to watch the kids? And they just say, yeah, go ahead. Come on. We can hire you. Yeah, come on in here. Hello? And as I said, even to a lot of women help men commit the crimes that they commit. A lot of men are perverts and pedophiles because they have women that enable that. They have women that help them to commit these crimes. Proven fact, known fact. When there's a man that committed a crime against a child or other women, there's a woman involved. Hello? And so, like I said, for me, I'm like, yeah, it's cute to hear these stories about maybe like the Mayans and the Aztecs and these people being from other star systems and the dog people being from Sirius AB. Yeah, that's really cute. But the question is, like, what have you done or what are you doing to save the planet? Like it's cute. Oh, they're so cute. They're from this. They're from that. Oh, but what is the Where's the magical abilities? Where's the power at? Your learnings, you like people go there and they learn at a faster rate there than over here. Like, where's the magical aspect of that? If they're so powerful and so extraterrestrial, and so that's just it for me. That's where I'm at with that. Where I'm like, but how does that prove any type of power? Because if anything, it proves lack thereof, and it gives me some type of egotistical story or story that they were taught. Maybe someone of a particular race gave their story, because I do feel like a lot of people survived this and they were retrained or reindoctrinated. They had a story back in the day where when you get, pulled into a FEMA camp, concentration camp, they're going to have markers on people: red, white, yellow, and black. Black means take you completely out. Red means that you've got too much indoctrination. You've been indoctrinated with a lot of rebellious energy, and there's a good chance you might still rebel. So, but you have a chance of being retrained. Then you have white, which means they really don't know anything. You have yellow that kind of is aware, but they're like, well, whatever. Like, okay, well, we know about it, but we don't care about it. So those two right there, the two, white and yellow, whatever, like they have these markings. Y'all would think they got these markings from the indigenous people and the black people and the people that got tackled down by the colonizers? You don't think they had special markings for the people? Because everybody wasn't falling for that shit. Hey, yo, just so you know, Chief Wakataka doesn't want to take our side. And you're just the man we were looking for, Big Bear. Hey, buddy, let me help you out. If you could convince Chief Nikasawa to take on our side, I promise you, because we got money coming. Yeah, I told you how we got here. Over there in Europe, we're kings and queens. Yeah, the Queen of England. And they had money. And they had big old lions. They had tigers. They had bison the size of that mountain over there. You see that mountain? They have a bison that big. And they were like, what, really? They were so excited. Oh, we gonna get some bison. We're gonna get some pig. Come on. These motherfuckers are lying. Get the Chief Kawasaga to join in and take our side, and we gonna take good care of you. They turned out one weak ass motherfucker. He was a weak ass motherfucker, but Big Bear was a weak ass motherfucker. That's how they got him. So what do you need me to do? We need you to go to the parties. We need you to tell us how they're partying, what they're doing. When you get him drunk or he gets high off that peyote, we need you to tell him, yo, you need these white men to help you. These white men got bison the size of that mountain, Tiptoe Mountain. They got hogs the size of an elk, the size of that pine tree. We need that. The Bushwick, we need that. And of course, they're like, well, our crops and shit is dying out too, because they didn't know no better. They didn't know the crop shit was dying because of the disease that these people are bringing over here. The crops, the animals are, oh, we're in famine, we're starving, we need to figure it out. So guess what? Chief Hakazuwu said, you know what? You're right, Big Bear. We're going to join forces with them. So guess what? The white men come on in here. They take over power. They take out everybody. They saved some of the women, honey, because they need some of that poom poom toom toom. But they make sure the man was gone. And if they didn't completely eradicate the man, honey, they were over here shackling the man and keeping the man down. That's the first set of motherfucking tea. And like I said, you have Big Bear, who was a fucking sellout. So yeah, they gave Big Bear, oh yeah, you did good, Big Bear. So we need you to continue to, and there you go. Big Bear post, I'm here to help. Hi, everybody. We're going to call that Al Sharpton syndrome. Hi, everybody. I'm here to speak for y'all. I'm a part of the speak. I'm the leader. I'm here to speak for, I'm the spokesperson for the color folks. And the motherfucker behind the scenes out here fucking down the masses, getting the girl, getting all the fucking white pussy you fucking want to get, all the fucking money you want. We're going to cut you a check. We're going to keep you wealthy, being a dirty ass fucking pig. Now that's what we call a pig. That's what we call a fucking sly motherfucker right there. And there's a lot of that. Not even just as big as that. You have it in your neighborhoods too. Motherfuckers acting like they, oh, he just pop up out the moon. Where you come from? Girl, people, I'm from the ghetto. I grew up in the hood. That's all I knew. But what made your mom have the bright idea to bring her oaky ass to Southside Detroit? What made her come from Kansas City, Missouri, trailer park trash to then come to the south side of Detroit? That doesn't make sense. And then now you growing up as like girl, and then you infiltrated like girl. We're not. And then what are they spies? Are these undercover FBI agents and shit? Because you know that's what happened too. Happened with the black and brown too. The black and brown move into high city areas and they start learning shit about the neighbors. Oh, they're black. They're not gonna go back and tell Tom. Tom, they're not gonna tell them how we get our money, Tom. You don't gotta worry about it, babe. And got the black kid getting exposed to all this information, going back home. Yeah, I was over there at Brandon's in them house, and the mom and dad was back there doing some shit in the little cellar, and the dad was talking about something about Microsense or Microsoft and something and shipping something and something like that. And Per's like, oh really? Well, thanks for that. So they go to work. Yo, my son was over there at the Marcello's houses, and the Marcello's store. We talking about shipping, and before you know, go to Marcello's, get taken down. Mom and dad playing that role. Was like, oh my god, the son going, oh my god, what up, my son? Take us to jail. They got kicked and they got left out here. Mom, what's going on with my friend? There we go. Or even the parents got to move the kid. Because now, we getting hot. They knowing that what we up to. They know that we FBI agents and shit. We gotta go. Now they moving the kids clear across the country and shit. Oh, I had to say goodbye. I had to say goodbye to my kids. That's what I'm saying, guys. There's a lot of informants around y'all. A lot of them. That's why I say I don't trust people. Bitch, I like you. You cute. Hi. But girl, to give you a rundown of what I got going on and how I want to do it, I'm not a fan of that. I don't give a fuck nobody say. I'm the girl, my mama, my sister, my child. Girl, I'm not giving you a rundown of my plans, what I got going on at 2:00. I'm not doing that. And when people really try to figure it out on me, I really try to switch up too. Like, I'm not going to do that. Because I don't like to be plotted and planned on down. Because bitch, you might be a little snitch. You might be a little spy. You might be a little informed. You like to inform people about what I'm doing. No, ma'am. And let's say everybody be a part of that, girl. And it even goes into people getting their families sacrificed and eradicated. A lot of times those family members were set up. Hey, yeah, you know she got $1 million, girl. Yeah, she just won. She just won the American Idol. Yeah, when she come home, she gonna get us up out of here. She got some money. Oh, you how much money? Oh shit. Oh, I gotta see how I'm gonna try to get that from her because my baby ain't gonna give me that money. Baby catch wind of it and she be like, wait a minute, hold up. You owe who money? Oh, bitch. Oh, hell no. They go on that concert. They go to the record executive and say, hey, just so you know, my mom and them owe some gangs some money and they trying to get the money from me. And they like, no, we got to protect the interest of our artists. So what we going to do? We're going to take out the whole family. Bingo. Dingo. You out on vacation. You out touring. Mysteriously, your whole damn family get eradicated. That's how that works. So I'm like, baby, listen. Hello? Okay? So like I said, Mesoamericans, being from a constellation on that, I'm just like, who said all this and what's the purpose? What's the purpose of all this, respectfully? What's the purpose of them being from a certain constellation? What magical abilities do they have? Do they speak a foreign language that's dead? Do they have a writing system that about? Do they communicate with angels? So they said they got, aliens over there in their neighborhood right now. Is the aliens in their huts right now? Their teepees on the reservation? Is the aliens hiding at on a bunk? Like the Zuni nation over there, the Zuni. Hello, shout out to my people out there. How you doing? Is there aliens hiding in the bunkers? Do they got aliens and artifacts hidden? I mean, that's the real questions. Do they have dialogue? Do they channel send information back to their ancestors over there in those constellations? Hey, just so you know, don't come to America right now. They do. Okay. Akasha came from the Hinduism. Hello? Come on in here. I'm glad somebody wake up in there. Come on, Jay. Listen, let me go. Y'all. Let me get my ass up. Love and light, love and truth. Gotta go. Gotta twerk. Let it go. Gotta go. And gotta go. Anyway, y'all. See y'all later. Love and light, love and truth. We'll be back again for another little installment, introduction, podcast, paragraph, inauguration. Oh, come on here. Enlightenment. And if you're nasty, a spiritual bath, a baptism. How you doing? We'll be back, y'all. Love and light, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And definitely we'll be back, okay? Bye for now. Love and light. Protect the children.